So we've got the whole crew here.
Howdy.
So tonight is the great alien debate between myself and Gaetano Contini, and we've got my good friend Ryan Chelf here to do some fact checking on us to keep us honest men. So
tinfoil hats.
So it's a bit of a SCUM experiment, as I've begun to call these things, where we are trying out a new method of, like a new format for SCUM movie night. So first off, cheers, you guys. Thank you for coming out here. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight, and it's the first time we got all three of us in a room doing this, so.
I know, horrible idea.
Let me make sure if I've got, I think this is the music one.
Yes, Nikki, thank you for pointing out the hats. We wanted to prove tonight that even though you are crazy, doesn't mean you can't be fashionable at the same time.
Yes.
They are for sale.
Yeah. So
Check out the Vulture Culture merch store.
Yes.
It should be up tomorrow.
Yes. So Gaetano, why don't you go over how we should have thought about this beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What are we really debating tonight?
Well, we have to decide that.
Right.
Are we debating the existence of aliens, or are we all in consensus that there is extraterrestrial life?
I think we all. You can give that microphone like a little bit more space.
A little bit more space.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Say something else?
Say something else?
That's perfect. Just like that.
Okay.
Even a little further is fine.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
the
that's
first
good.
time I was here, I didn't do the best job.
We changed some of the settings on the second mic too for this, so that we sound right. So
unfortunately, we're working on a budget, so we only have 2 mics for 3 guys. So
and so we chose the guy with the loudest voice. He doesn't get a mic.
I am the naturally thunderous one.
I can hear you perfectly fine, even though these mics are designed to not pick up sound outside of a small cone. Like, you are perfectly audible.
Yeah, that kind of happens.
Yeah, so we all agree that aliens probably exist in the universe, even if it's just microbial life, right?
So I won already.
Right.
End of stream. Thank you all for coming.
Where's the where is, I was gonna hit the fucking thing and be like really cute about it.
Victory. Finish him.
Shortest stream ever.
Yeah. No, okay, so you didn't win.
All right.
So first off,
See?
I'm not going to debate you that there could be intelligent alien life, intelligent being defined like vaguely octopus or higher intelligence in the universe.
I've met an octopus smarter than most people I've met, so maybe octopus is setting the bar a little high.
He hangs out in Lake Worth a lot, so you don't have the good.
I was going to say, usually I'm the smartest person in the room, and that's a really bad room to be in.
Yeah. Lake Worth is hell.
No, I've been to hell. It's
there
nice.
could be intelligent life out there, and
But that intelligent life's influence on humanity.
That's where we're debating tonight. So
Beautiful.
I'll grant you that there could be microbes out there on Mars even, and that there could be microbes on asteroids in Alpha Centauri, the nearest galaxy to us. There could definitely be some aliens doing SCUM movie night on Alpha Centauri.
They call it human night, actually.
Yeah, human
movie night.
Yeah, human movie night. So that's 100% possible. But where we're going to debate is on whether or not those intelligent aliens have been to Earth, and whether or not that's influenced history at all. And is there anything we need to add to that?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so that's
the
what we're talking
parameters of what
tonight.
we're doing tonight.
Yep.
Okay, so
And, Amanda, I believe. Amanda's kitty, correct?
yes.
All right, she was just talking about how Canada just announced the existence of aliens, whether or not the source is credible or not.
That's coming up. That's coming up.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so you actually have that on deck?
Yes, we did.
absolutely.
Did you not read the materials that he sent out ahead of time?
No, I just checked it. That we
Didn't
had
read the
it.
newsletter?
I didn't want to be,
Of course. I appreciate it.
All right, so what Alex doesn't know is we're starting with anal probing. Now,
Of course we're starting with anal probing. That's how every SCUM movie night starts. Whenever I have a guest in, that's the first thing we do. And then we turn the cameras
This time
on.
we have tinfoil hats.
I love that you guys have the tinfoil hats, by the way. That is adorable. Okay, so before we even get on that, do you want to talk about what we're planning on doing?
Actually, before we even do that, I believe shots need to be had.
Oh.
Okay. So yes.
Let's celebrate. Welcome everyone. Say hello in the chat. We don't see who's in there.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm usually better about paying attention to the chat, but just since I'm trying to wrangle these.
Nope, that's my job tonight.
Yes,
Cheers,
yes. All
everyone.
right, cheers, everybody.
Score.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this SCUM experiment, and may the best man win.
I plan on.
Cheers.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, the Brazilberg's great. Definitely legal.
Yep, no question on that at all. Don't
No
even know why
question.
it's
Only the
brought
taste.
up.
Yeah.
That's way nicer than Underberg.
Okay.
So.
Give me another one.
Cheers, guys. Hey, how's it going, Bucky? How's it going, Amy? Neil? Who else do we have? We have multiple Neils. We got Amanda. Of course, we have Nikki. My favorite Nikki. Hey, what's up, Kyle? How's it going? Cheers, everybody.
Yep, we got an Amy Howitt. How
Yeah.
you doing, Amy?
So,
Seen Amy's been in a good mood all day, so.
February 4th.
February 4th.
All right.
February
What are we doing?
4th.
What are we doing? We are having the first Scum comedy night
Yes.
at Revelry, February 4th. Be there. Anyone who shows up to this comedy show will have guaranteed tickets to my first Netflix special. You sign in. It's free. I'm not flying you out there. That's on you. But I will guarantee tickets to my first
Oh
special.
my God, that's so awesome.
Be there.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing it February 4th. Do we have a time? Have we
Yeah,
talked?
7 p.m. for any
7
comics.
p.m., that's what I
7
thought.
p.m. for the comics. 8 p.m. start of the show. We're going to go as long as the comics provide. And
Sure.
however,
Start of the show.
who's the star of the show? We all are the star of the show when you're at Revelry because we're a family. When you're here, yeah, no, we can't say that. 'cause
No,
So I was gonna say, no, the best line I ever heard for Revelry was "free friend with every beer."
nice.
Which shout out to Shay. I don't think she's in the chat, but she might go back and watch this. So
Hey,
shout out to Shay.
Yeah, how's it going, E-Money?
E-Money.
So Neil's asking who's on the lineup.
Who's in the lineup? We're gonna keep that under wraps. You're gonna see that.
That means we're still planning everything.
Thank you. See, I was a good fact checker.
Yeah.
He called me on my bullshit already.
Yeah.
What I'm
Well,
here
me, I'll be there.
Be here all night.
I will be there.
Alex will be there. Who more
Yes.
do you need?
Yeah.
Anyway, and Ryan.
And
I
Ryan.
might show up to be the heckler in the crowd. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Tiny's coming out of
They
retirement
probably-
to handle hecklers. So,
All right. For those of you who don't know, Tiny is the only man who aptly fits that name in the fact that he is what 6'8",
yeah.
and
6 foot
looks
eight.
like he could eat me for breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's you know, I feel like I'm a pretty beefy dude or whatever, but when he picked me up with one arm that one time, that was a freaky feeling.
Yeah.
Because it was not like... it
Humbling,
was,
huh?
Yeah, humbling is a good word because it was not a struggle for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we're going to be doing it at Revelry live in Lake Worth, downtown Lake Worth Beach.
Masks are required to go, so
100% masks are required.
but once you're there and have a beer in hand and are at a seat, you can take the mask off. So
Yeah. So as soon as you're sitting down, you can take the mask off.
now will Sushihara also be there that night?
I do not know yet. I talked to her about it, and we're going to see.
All right.
Basically, yeah.
So there may be sushi. If not, fantastic Diablo burgers.
Yeah, it'll definitely be. And it's really great to be doing a Scum night live again because we used to do these monthly before coronavirus was the thing. And then for the past however long, we've been doing it online. And I love the online version, but there is something so cool about meeting up with people in real life in a socially distant way. They have the whole place set up so it's socially distant. And yeah, so
Bucky, thank you for reminding us. Yes, if anyone out there has not already, please like and subscribe the video.
That
I know
is one
it's
seriously
Thumbs up.
perverted bitch.
Zoidberg is benzoed out, tipped $6.66.
wow, we're transversing videos with this. That's a benzo reference from
Zoidberg?
last week. Zoidberg is an
Futurama?
alien from Futurama.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like he's a really bad lobster doctor.
Yeah.
From Futurama.
Thank you.
Zoidberg, thank you very much for
I
the
saw someone mention
donation.
Zoidberg earlier, but I didn't get to. E-Money mentioned Zoidberg earlier, so I'm assuming E-Money is the one for the tip. Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
E-Money.
the tip.
Yes, thank you very much. And so that's what we're doing live in a couple of weeks, right? That's
Yes.
time, right? Couple of weeks, something like that.
2 weeks.
that's
2
how-
weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Call it-
that's-
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Wonderful. So that's really exciting, and I just really appreciate you working with me on this. I mean,
Love
it's
it.
really
Can't
exciting
wait.
to be able to do it
See where this goes.
with the whole Scum movie night family there. So
Beautiful.
I think without further ado, is there anything after you smash that subscribe button? Because we're at we're less than 180 subscribers till we are.
Say we broke the 900 mark.
No, we have not broken 900 yet. But if you guys could, yeah. Oh, and actually, what's the most important thing to say is if you guys can please share this video on your social media. So copy the YouTube URL and drop it on Facebook and Instagram. It actually makes a huge difference. Like when I always forget to say it, but when I do and people actually post it on their social media, we get a lot more people. And that's, I'm really excited for tonight because we've never done a SCUM night like this. And so it would be great if we could get as many people here, the more the merrier. And it's the cheapest way to support the channel too, right? Support what we're doing. Yeah, totally free just to post it. And it's a fun time for everybody.
Alex did promise that on 1,000 subscribers, he will do a podcast shirtless. So for all the women out there and select men, maybe subscribe on your other Gmail accounts that are out there.
Yes.
I was gonna say I already created 4 fake accounts to follow him. So
Wait.
That's why we didn't give him a mic.
That was a joke, YouTube. If YouTube's listening, that was a joke.
I don't know how to create fake accounts.
All right.
All I do is sit
Let's get
around
into this.
Yeah, let's jump on in. All right,
Give them what they came for.
Yeah, let's give them the. So you're in charge of that, and
also, I literally just had a friend direct message me because he doesn't feel like typing in our chat.
Bitch.
Anonymous, top $12. Thank you very much.
Anonymous. Thank you so much for the donation.
I'm
I
sorry,
really
we refer to them as Void.
the Void. Yes, the Void. Thank you very much for that donation of $12. It means a whole lot.
Yes, but I did have a friend ask us why we did not go for the Alpha tinfoil hats tonight. Like, because we want to be
Alfalfa?
fashionable.
Like
yeah, the
spike.
high point tip.
Oh, is that a thing?
When
Yes.
we win the argument, we're going to make Alex wear one.
Okay, cool.
So-
Yeah.
We
Stay
may or may
tuned.
not have one already off sick leave.
All right. So Gaetano, take it away.
So I'd like to start with a basis for my argument.
Yeah.
Alien experience encounters through history. We have one of the earliest, Josephus pre-war revelation. This is, I can't say his name.
Titus Flavius Josephus.
Yes. Described the army in the clouds prior to the start of the First Jewish-Roman War. This was in the year 66 AD, where the occurrence of this incident was the clouds recorded by Josephus on the eve of the aforementioned Jewish War. As we're going to encounter, a lot of these sightings happen around wartime conflict, any kind of major human event.
Okay.
So his...
Okay, wait, before we get all the way in here, let's just talk real quick about what is it exactly that your claim is, so that I can keep that in mind while we're going.
So for...
What have aliens have been here?
And documented during major conflict or momentous occasions in human history.
Okay, so your belief is, so I'm make sure I'm following you, is that not only have aliens come like one time, but they've been here a lot?
Yes, absolutely.
And would you say they've been here like thousands of years ago?
Well, this is 2,000 years ago.
This is 2000.
This is, yeah, AD after death.
Is this the earliest? Just question, doesn't have to be.
Not necessarily the earliest. This is the earliest in modern time that I would go with.
Okay, like...
There is ancient Sumerian text that we're going to get into. The earliest written language does, in my opinion, describe encounter with the Nibiru, or no, with the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki,
planet is Nibiru, but we're going to get to that. I have a whole section on
sure.
that.
We'll get to all of this. But just so that I can...
He sent earlier.
So just so I can understand like where we're going with this, is it that they've visited like, Area 51 style where we saw them in the sky, or are we talking they've influenced human history?
In this example, no. This is them. This is sightings of aircraft of some kind of
Non-human thing.
non-human, or something that a lesser advanced people couldn't describe well. They always liken it to thunder, the roar of thunder, or the light, the bright as the sun, which, in my opinion, if you've ever seen a shuttle take off, is an uneducated way to describe. And it's not uneducated in a negative way. It's uneducated as they don't know what these
their place of
objects
history
are.
Yeah.
So if you can liken it to an object, it would be the sun, which is the jet packs on a space shuttle. The rocket boosters. Thank you.
Jetpacks are personal.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's what you're there for. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, it was
Okay, so, but just a big picture real quick before I let you dive all the way in here. We're saying that not only have they been here, but they've affected human history.
This isn't an example. Is not an example.
We're not talking about this yet. We'll get there. But just as your overall thesis is that they have probably impacted human history?
Probably intentionally or unintentionally.
Okay.
Just from being there.
Okay, so we're not going full X-Files here where you're saying you're sure that there's a conspiracy between the American government and aliens.
I won't. I'll let the ex-CIA director.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that, like, I know where we're going with this. It's like a bigger picture of,
bigger picture. These are just the early history accounts that have lasted through time, and for anyone, especially back then, to write something down, carry it through history, they're not doing that for no reason.
Okay, so go ahead and jump on into everything that you think are what your major points are throughout history. And
either that or this is the world's most long-living fan fiction.
Yes.
And
where everyone makes it's a write your own story where one person says a word, the other person says a word, and they all come together.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, it's a big D&D game.
Yeah.
So
not going for my D&D.
All right.
So I was looking for a better. We can't play this video.
Yeah. We got to be careful about some copyright stuff. I think we can get away with just looking at articles. I don't think that's copyright issues.
Eventually link to the articles so people can actually go look at them on their own. I think.
So this is at ancient-origins.net, by the way, since that doesn't show up on stream.
Yes. If one of us are feeling bored one day, we might go ahead and link all these in the description of the video when it goes for watching back purposes.
Yeah, I might do that.
That's what I was implying. If you're
yeah.
But you getting bored is
okay. So do you want me to read that?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so a certain prodigious and incredible phenomena appeared. I suppose the account of it would seem to be a fable, were not the events that followed of it so considerable a nature as to deserve such signals. For before sunsetting, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armor were seen running about among the clouds. Moreover, at that feast which we call Pentecost, as the priests were going by night into the inner temple, they said that in the first place they felt a quaking and heard a great noise.
So that is an account of something happening, causing men to flee, going to battle. So they're going to their certain deaths, some of them.
Right.
But
this scared them.
They experienced something that they decided to carry through history.
Okay, cool. Chariots in the clouds, right, yeah.
Right. So...
Okay, now we got a mysterious light.
Let's go to Columbus later.
Okay.
I'm going to go with biblical. Not that I, by any means, believe that the Bible has too much to say that I follow.
Right.
But... Oh, Alex, is there anything I can't...
What?
That's your email.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should have that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have that up yet?
Nope.
All right, you're good. Just go ahead.
There we go. All right.
Wait. Okay, so full screen it on that side and then drag it over. There you go. Yeah, there you are.
Boom. So
we're professionals.
Yeah. This is everything
about this. So this is Ezekiel.
Okay.
All right, biblical.
You want to read that, Alex? You got the better voice.
As I looked, behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness around it, and fire flashing forth continually. And in the midst of the fire, as it were gleaming metal, and from the midst of it came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had a human likeness.
And it's just an excerpt. There's more. Go read the Bible, everyone.
I can see.
Have fun.
Genesis 6:4, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. So the Nephilim, they're the giants, right?
Yes.
Well, more than that, the word came there is literally...
King.
King. Nephilim were the spawn of both angels and human.
or this creature that we decided to attribute to God.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense that if
Quote, unquote.
aliens did exist, that we would probably interpret it as some sort of.
Or that is the definition of a god, is this creature that's more advanced than us. There is no necessarily spiritual being, but that was just our representation. Which, all these bring me to the cargo cult of Africa. Where is the cargo cult?
Oh, I remember the cargo cult.
For anyone who's...
In our notes, but anyway.
What are we looking for? The Go Beckley tribe? Is that it?
No, go back to... Is this it? Let's maximize everything. Sorry, guys. The cargo cult was a jeez.
So there was an
uncontacted tribe that found a wrecked plane during World War II.
Right.
And since that day, they've incorporated into a religious practice the mimicking of the plane crashing in their village, because the cargo on that plane provided them with technological advancement for their culture. They weren't contacted by modern man. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if memory serves, I think the pilot actually survived long enough to describe what a runway was, and they actually built a runway as part of their religious viewpoints, and then actually had religious rituals similar to when you see like the pilot or like the ground crew motioning for flight. Or
really?
Planes. Yeah,
that's
that
adorable.
was actually part of their religious ceremonies. Was like the directionality of getting planes ready to take off or fly and everything like that. Because apparently the pilot did hope to one day fly off. We really should have organized.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
No. Well, it's actually a testament to how much info you brought with you. To talk about
I just like
this.
to give Gaetano shit because it's fun.
Yeah. No.
So that was a great description of it. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. I've read a book.
I just watch a lot of YouTube videos. Sorry, guys. I can't read.
Down the rabbit hole.
I forgot how to read though. Speaking of reading, what's
Jesus
the comments
Christ.
there?
Okay, so what are you looking for?
Yeah, the cargo cult.
E-Money
I
says
know
God
I
was
have
an
it.
alien.
Okay.
Absolutely, God was an alien. I guess I could just Google it if we need to, right?
Yeah. I mean,
We're not starting on any hot topic issues here,
Cheers to God.
debating the merits of religion or anything. Everyone's allowed to believe what they want.
Yeah.
So back into religion, the Vimana.
God damn it.
What?
I just said we weren't getting into religion.
Okay, go ahead.
The Vimana, the mythical flying palaces or chariots described in Hindu texts and Sanskrit epics. These were flying ships in a religious text that has not the merits of religion, just the value of description of something that did happen in history. According to these people, they still believe it to this day. They're the vehicles of the gods. This is, let's see, resembles the sun and belongs to my brother, brought by the powerful so-and-so.
Ravana.
Yeah. That aerial and excellent
The chariot resembling a bright cloud in the sky, and the king Rama got in, and the excellent chariot at the command of the Ragira rose up into the higher atmosphere. So actually, according to this Hindu epic, they're saying that a king got into a UFO. What were you guys saying earlier? We tried to not say anything before this so that I'm fresh, but they don't call them UFOs anymore?
No. So professionals in the field refuse to use the term UFO because it's too catchphrasy and enjoyable and like makes people give that thrill and everything. So they now use one of two terms. They either use unidentified aerial phenomenon, or what was the one you used? I forgot what you said.
It's UAV, which is not the
unidentified aerial vehicle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
So
Don't describe this, but you can hear the.
Oh.
Yeah,
That was a nervous tick. Excuse me.
Yeah.
which brings me to fun fact of the night. What famous band is actually named after a World War I terminology for extraterrestrial or unidentified craft?
I don't know, my son. What's the answer?
Foo Fighters.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I feel like I might have heard of that.
It was
before.
a World War I and World War II terminology to refer to any unidentified flying craft on the battlefield as a Foo, or a Foo Fighter, and therefore the ones they sent up were Foo Fighters.
Okay.
In World War II, the so-called
let's
Foo
talk about
Fighters
these.
are a variety. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Nazi
I didn't even
UFOs.
know you
I'm
had
into
that
that. Yeah. Let's talk about this because
The
Nazi
Nazis
UFOs.
could have got everything wrong, is what I'm trying to say. They
Wait,
made
you're saying that the Nazis didn't have good opinions on things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay,
Anal
let's not,
probe.
let's
Too
not
much.
make jokes about that. Let's
Don't
just
make
focus
jokes.
on.
Okay. So this is the. Let's go back to
Just
the
because I
Vimana.
am a Viking does not mean I believe with the Nazis.
So, well, there is the Norse legends of Thor, or any of those beings that are supernatural. Most of them are flying. That's where I'm going with this basis. That's all I really wanted to prove or support, is that through history we've had stories coming. 7,000.
Also, thank you for whoever anal probes aren't cheap is for the.
Oh God, yeah, I totally missed another donation. Thank you very much. Anal probes aren't cheap.
They really aren't.
I don't know. You can get a fucking pack of butt plugs for like $30 on Amazon. It's pretty good. Delivered to your doorstep
You
discreetly.
have butt plug money?
I didn't. That is not where all these donations go to.
That is what you heard it here, folks. All of these monies go straight to Aunt Daddy's butt plug fund.
Yeah. So okay.
All right, so
Okay, go ahead.
something that
Back on
kind of looks
topic.
like a butt plug.
Oh, actually, that one does look oddly butt pluggish.
This is the
Painful on the way out.
Nuremberg phenomenon.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? Is a mass sighting of celestial phenomena or UFOs above Nuremberg, interpreted by some enthusiasts as an aerial battle of extraterrestrial origin. The view is mostly dismissed by skeptics. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, mostly
anal
dismissed
probes
by
was
skeptics. But there was this carving that was made. It's been carried through history that there were flying objects hurling those balls at each other. There's this object, this object right here, these crosses, and obviously you have to, it looks like a scroll. They have to equate it with something they know.
Right.
If we look at this objectively in today's society, you know, the planes that can't, well, no, I was going to say the planes that stealth planes, that's what we mimic our stealth planes off.
Yeah, it does look like a stealth plane.
Right?
All right, so clearly the first part of your argument is we have a lot of historical texts that reference this.
Yes.
So what's the next part?
Next
Well,
part.
hang on. Let's first answer these. What is your response to the historical evidence provided here?
So the quick version of my response, I really want to let Gaetano kind of get most of his stuff on the table, but quickly I would say, just like a lot of things, like I mentioned this to you, like, you know, Jonah and the whale, for instance, right?
Which is an unidentified submersible object.
Right.
USO.
So it's a USO.
Because how could someone live inside of a whale? And
They did it in Pinocchio.
but if you think of a submarine,
Right.
what would you equate that to?
Well, yeah, so
whale.
it's actually weirdly more plausible that it was aliens than it was.
It's much more comforting to think that there was an alien that advanced society, gave us the knowledge from, if we're going biblical,
Right.
in the Garden of Eden, took a proto-human from an ignorant being, gave it knowledge and actualization,
Yes.
and brought us into the future. Because there was a step between humans and the proto-humans that we've discovered, and we really haven't found that missing link.
Okay, so that is...
That's my argument for alteration.
Okay, so we could get to that. So 2 points real quick, and then I'll let you keep going. One is it's just the general skepticism of taking some of this stuff too seriously. I think it's really interesting, stuff like historical accounts of things that we didn't understand at the time, and it's kind of fun to try to look at it through a certain lens, because we have this 1950s version of what aliens are, and it can be, you can sort of shoehorn it in a little bit. But I'm not convinced that just because we have this painting of some stuff that looks like something happened in the sky. I mean, there's a whole lot of meteorological science that wasn't discovered yet.
Well, and to give credence to that, one of the things that I can bring up in a very similar time period to that Nuremberg argument is, if you look, there's a lot of the illuminated manuscripts that monks were making that depicts knights finding giant snails. there's more than one of them, and it's hilarious to actually look
Right.
up in fact, if you want to Google it really quick. just
Wow, it's okay.
Yeah.
We got enough
we have a lot of
stuff.
other
Yeah,
stuff.
we
But
don't need
anyways,
to add any
but
chaos.
The theory is that anything that the people that actually had the talent and education to do the illustrated manuscripts thereof were to do hyperbole of. That's why you have knights fighting giant snails, because the snails were always ruining the monks' crops and stuff like that.
Sure, I think there's something deeply human about sort of these archetypes. So there's always been, for instance, like fairies. Mm-hmm. Aliens are a lot like fairies.
No, fuck fairies.
Yeah, and they abduct.
There's a reason I keep
They
horses
abduct
in the
babies.
They abduct babies. Yeah, it serves the same
Replace
similar.
babies also.
Yes,
that's something on
hybrid human hybrids, right? So you could maybe you'll get into that, but
No,
the counter argument here would be like, hey, there's just this deeply human thing where we sort of tell these sorts of boogeyman folklore tales that sort of keep children in line, right? And that's a part of what it is to be human, and it's an interesting part of being human, but it's not really evidence of that. And just on the topic of the missing link, Charles Darwin himself actually coined the phrase missing link because at the time there really wasn't a lot of archaeological evidence, and he preemptively knew that would be what people would say about the theory of evolution, right? He would be like, hey, the problem is we don't have these intermediate links between something that looks more like a primate and something that looks more like a human being. In the time since Darwin, we found a lot of missing links, like
not only that, but,
Australopithecus.
we're always making new discoveries. In fact, literally a headline today was that they found a fossilized dinosaur butthole.
That's so cool.
It was an actual headline.
I'm glad we can always bring things back to
butts.
Butts, yeah.
But no, it was actually a phenomenal. They said it was so well preserved. They actually have DNA fecal matter.
You can actually learn a lot from
as
an
well
organism.
as they saw,
Yeah.
as they saw that the butthole of this specific species was used for both procreation, egg laying.
We'll do dinosaurs later. We'll do dinosaurs later.
Dinosaurs is later.
The dinosaurs was really cool, but
So I want to stay on historical for right now because I do have a couple more things.
Well, here was my thought: is maybe if you can lay out the big picture.
Oh, you
and
want
then,
all of it, and then we'll go to back and
right? Yeah, we got plenty of time to go back and do more historical stuff. You don't have to do everything all at once. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
sure. We're just.
I want to get a good grasp of what
the fossilized butthole was probed for scientific reasons.
All right. So then we're gonna go to modern times. This is the Battle of Los Angeles.
Crappy movie.
And not the movie.
Yeah.
So the Great Los Angeles Air Raid.
Right.
There were over. Where is it? How many rounds were fired? Jesus.
The date was February 23rd, 1942.
December 9th, 1941.
Oh.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I read the second date.
Oh. Oh yeah. All right. No, that was a submarine. Yeah, no, that was a submarine. They were there was Pacific United States military action, so we were worried about an invasion from the west on US soil.
Right.
So we had aerial defenses on the west coast, Los Angeles. What? Talk to me.
I'm sorry, my history is bad. This is pre Pearl Harbor, right? Because Pearl Harbor was December of 42? Or was it
doesn't
December
matter. Yeah,
it might matter.
No, it might actually. I think it was post Pearl Harbor. Yeah, they're perfect.
So let's let Gaetano just kind of do his thing for a bit, and then we can get into all of.
So I'm trying to look up. There was some thousands of rounds of anti-aircraft 50 caliber gunfire.
Okay.
That was unleashed on what we officially, as a government, call a weather balloon. So our trained anti-aircraft soldiers, people that do this, while anti-aircraft batteries dotted the heavens with beautiful, if sinister, orange bursts of shrapnel, they couldn't down this, what we call weather balloon, over Los Angeles. Going back to my point of during wartime or even historical events, there have been these freak encounters with things that we don't understand, This is modern day. If we're talking weather occurrences, this was, we could read from quoted, powerful searchlights, countless stations, stabbed at the sky with brilliant probing fingers, while anti-aircraft batteries dotted the heavens, like I just said. Imagine. So they rallied 6 planes on this one thing. Oh, there it is. 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition to the sky.
That's a lot of rounds into a weather balloon. Yeah.
Without being able to down it.
And no planes were shot down.
Yeah. No planes were shot down.
And there's actually, friendly fire here.
Sorry, Gary, go, dude.
All right, so just to play devil's advocate here, because I googled everything. December 7th, 1941 was Pearl Harbor. So this was literally within 3 months of Pearl Harbor happening that this battle over Los Angeles happened. So
are you saying maybe they were a little trigger happy?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, I did Google it. The highest that a plane in 1940 could achieve, in the 1940s could achieve as far as altitude goes, is roughly 60,000 feet.
Okay.
The highest weather balloon, on the other hand, if we are going purely weather balloon, is 150,000 feet.
Okay.
Now, the rounds that they use for anti-aircraft rounds were only designed to typically be accurate up to 45 to 55,000 feet. So even at a plane's max altitude, there was still a chance that they couldn't hit it. Now, again, that's me being devil's advocate.
But do with that information what you will.
Okay. So,
yeah.
All right. So we got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, these are historical, but this is more modern. I was going with biblical earlier. This is still the battle.
Okay, so let's talk about these Nazi UFOs real quick. So that's interesting to me, just because like the Nazis were into all sorts of weird shit, like occultism and stuff like that. So what did the Nazis think about UFOs?
Well, they were searching out.
They have like an active program that was.
There.
First person to bring up the 4th Indiana Jones movie gets punched.
Well, okay, yeah. We're not going to talk about that terrible stain on the otherwise great Indiana Jones movies.
They had a. There are people that believe, and hey, what am I?
Oh, they sent an expedition there
to Antarctica. There was a hollow earth theory that could be where, if we have alien contact, they're based out of any remote location, depths of the earth, or middle of the Antarctic, somewhere we can't go. Or the moon. Dark side of the moon. We actually have pictures of the other side of the moon already, so that's unfortunate.
Okay, I'm gonna let you just keep rocking and rolling.
So the Foo Fighters, like Ryan brought up, we've had sightings by pilots all through history. I can bring them up of flying objects. We've nicknamed them Foo Fighters. This is not just one person. This isn't some hillbilly out in the middle of a swamp saying, "I saw something." These are professional, airplane pilots. So
right, and that is something I hear from skeptics a lot, is that there are never anybody who's qualified who ever actually sees. It's always hillbillies or people in the middle of nowhere who are drunk in the woods. But that's not actually true, right? Like the truth is that there are we do have some relatively credible
type
stuff.
in Tic Tac.
Tic Tac? I know exactly where you're going with this.
Yes. Like Tic Tac, like C. TIC.
Yeah, like the mints.
Yeah. TIC.
Like this?
Without the K's.
Without the K.
Tic Tac UFO.
Not even close.
Yeah, it should bring it up.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Wait. Did I spell it wrong?
Yes.
TIC.
Okay.
TAC.
Oh, that's what it is. I don't know how that T got over there. There we
Science.
go. Okay.
Yeah. General.
Not history.com.
Fravor.
No, the reason, like you were just mentioned, that we were talking about how like most of these sources were back with.
Oh, we could definitely play these if they're on Wikipedia. We're good to go. Yeah.
So these are all recently declassified videos that you can actually see of I don't know. Is there sound on these, or am I just talking?
No, it's fine.
No, there's no sound. You're good.
Okay, so these are actual flight recordings from fighter pilots that have been classified by the United States government up until recent history. I think the most recent one was actually declassified this year, but it's of a tic-tac shaped object that was be able to fly and maneuver at speeds and with versatility that no earthly pilot would ever be able to achieve.
Okay. So what are we looking at here? This is
a targeting system on an aircraft.
Okay.
I don't know the aircraft. Ryan might know.
If I can read this.
But yeah. So
we're good. Let's go back.
18?
Yeah. Right, let's look at the gimbal video over there. That's while we're talking. We might as well have these up.
This one has.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Is that too loud?
We're screamingly loud.
Can I put it up a little bit just to hear the reaction?
No.
Well, I was gonna say, because it actually does have the fighter pilot talking about what he's witnessing. It's like
That's okay, but
like he's reporting back to base. It's like, dude, are you seeing this shit? It's like there's no way that this is a real thing.
We're gonna dub it right now. Holy fuck! There's something flying.
Right. Can you full screen it?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Repeat, Tin Hut. Repeat, Tin Hut. What was
So that really does look like a classic UFO to a certain extent, doesn't it?
And this is a targeting system, so it's not
We'll play it again while we're
Yeah.
talking because it. Whoops. Turn that off. Sorry about everybody's
So
ears.
for anyone, So for anyone that wants to go watch this video and hear their reaction of a respected pilot freaking the fuck out over seeing this, I would recommend it.
highly.
Yeah. So the Pentagon just declassified these videos.
Okay.
This is present day, and there's a third. Let's just see what that one is, and boom. I was pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, you're great.
Yeah.
All right, full screen it.
So this is the.
Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
That thing?
So it descends from some hold on.
Oh yeah, you can hear him scream for a second. It was okay. It wasn't as loud.
Because he actually screamed because it moved so fast that he lost it.
And stopped above the water. So there were reports of a submerged object that it was coming in contact with, but at the rate it fell, with the speed, with the abruptness that it stopped at, it's impossible.
Okay.
Yes. Now again, this stuff, a lot of this stuff was declassified.
2017 was the first release of the videos.
Okay.
Yes,
And
but
then
in February
April
2020.
Yeah, the Pentagon formally released these videos. That's when they were leaked.
Right.
Okay.
So the fact that, like, literally in the middle of the pandemic and everything,
Oh yeah.
they released these videos, and there was so much other shit going on in the world that we all just didn't notice.
Right. Yeah. We were just.
So if
okay.
anyone hasn't done any looking into this, our government has released at least something they can't explain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the videos definitely look relatively compelling.
And for anyone that is wondering why a government wouldn't acknowledge their research into UFOs, if it's not something we can control, this is technology that could be used by our enemies. So any acknowledgement of it and release of their findings could only help other nations de-engineer. What is the word? Reverse engineer. There we go.
Yeah,
Reverse engineer any crashed aircraft or vehicles that they've found. And the first person to be able to recreate, the first person to recreate that right there will own any battlefield on this planet, because clearly these things are not taking over yet. But a human with that capability would.
Right.
Right. Now, but like that brings up actual historical credence with the Cold War. Anybody that knows about the Space Force program, basically what happened was Reagan came out and said, hey, you know all that shit, or was it Reagan or what president? I don't remember what president it was, but it's like, hey, you know all that shit you just saw in Star Wars like a couple months ago? We figured out how to make that in real life. We got a Death Star size, or Death Star capable satellite up in space right now. And the commies just start freaking the fuck out, literally bankrupt themselves trying to match the technology that we said we had.
Right.
Because we just said, hey, look, Star Wars just came out and we did the same thing they did. It's like, we got X-Wing pilots up there already. We got a couple Y-bombers and shit. and literally they bankrupted the Communist Union.
Was that a direct quote from a past president?
Slightly paraphrased.
Slightly paraphrased. All right.
Okay,
Thank
so,
you.
all right. What else are we talking about here? What are your most compelling arguments here? Because we could go all night just, kind of going through this, but
I was gonna say,
let's focus this a little bit on so we actually have something I can debate you on specifically. I mean, we could go one by one through some of these.
Yeah, just start throwing shit out there.
I kind of want to let you get your chance to really make your case before I start jumping down your throat.
Well, I have multiple different things talking points, and I prove them wrong, and I'll expound as you start proving any of them wrong if you can.
Well, what I want to do is give you the chance to really
give you my whole argument, and then you can pick which ones are weakest, or you can pick them as they come. I don't know.
Well, whatever you would prefer. It's definitely So
start picking them. Go for it.
I was gonna say, based on the fact that I actually know half of what he's arguing because I read the stuff that he sent at lunch.
Well,
today.
yes, I definitely do have the feeling that I'm sitting in a room with two people with tinfoil caps on. For sure.
Yeah, that's how.
Well, once you put the tinfoil cap on, they stop putting microwaves into your brain. You could think clearly. So
I actually went up by at least 12 points.
So now it's 12.
Yeah.
But
does that block 5G
actually, it has to be 7.
Yes.
You have to have a minimum IQ of 60 to function.
Is that what they told you in school?
Okay,
Sorry, just won't take anything lower than 60. But no.
Okay.
But based on what I know he has prepared and everything, I think you should start coming up with arguments because I know he actually has certain things pulled up already to counter argument. Argument you bring up.
Some of them are. So if you want my best argument, it's the Pentagon real time. It was April 27, 2020, released these videos of unidentified flying objects. We have Canada's ex-defense minister.
Canadian, eh?
Aliens would give us more tech if we'd stop war. We can't play the video, but this is the ex-defense minister of a nation coming out saying that we need to stop war. And if you've seen from my previous examples or my supports, it's around war when we have the most occurrences. Like there is that hillbilly in the swamps that, saw something, but the most well documented is in wartime.
Now, to play devil's advocate again, because that's what I'm here to do. Whenever there is,
I thought that was what I was here to do.
No, you're out here to debate him. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay, go ahead.
So when there is wartime, there is more observation.
Absolutely, that's fair.
So especially because if you think about it, and so two things you have going on: you have actual events worth witnessing, and then you have more observation of said events and everything surrounding them. Because if you're at war, you want to know everything going on around that area. You don't care about what's happening over Farmer Joe's crops right now.
Oh, speaking of, back to the Tic Tac, the Tic Tac blocked radar when we encountered it. We were doing a military exercise, and when you jam radar of another nation, that is an act of war.
Right.
So we scrambled our jets that were part of a military exercise with, I think they may or may not have anything live. They did have live ammunition on there, but it was practice. So they weren't armed to the teeth like they should have been for encountering a hostile force. Yeah, we need to watch the chat. If anyone's been saying anything,
I apologize.
They're like, everyone's.
Yes, E-Money.
E-Money's talking about the pyramids.
That part.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have something to talk about with the pyramids, real quick?
Okay,
actually, while I'm giving you a chance to.
Let's do it.
We're gonna go full Stargate on this one.
Can you pull up the chat in your phone so we can watch it close by?
Let me do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure.
We're professionals.
This is fun.
Tinfoil hat professionals.
So
Oh shit!
I do hate the lag when I watch the show. My phone has less of a lag than my Xbox, I think.
Oh, interesting.
So I'll see it on my phone. Yes. I always try to jump it forward after I pause it, fast forward. I don't know.
E-Money has watched far too much Stargate SG-1. Also, he's questioning whether or not Canada counts as a nation.
Well, okay.
That's a discussion we're not going to get into.
We all
will go into the Stargate
we all know Canadians aren't real.
It's like Ryan Reynolds and a bunch of illusions.
We've got a 200,000-year-old city found in southern Africa.
This is South Africa. This is not Göbekli Tepe, but which means hill of knowledge, which is kind of cool in their native language. But I actually didn't mean to bring this up. So you said pyramids, and this is Africa, but we're finding older and older.
We're geographically challenged around here.
Settlements and civilizations. Aliens with the pyramids. I wasn't even going to touch that because it's kind of faux pas. It's like everyone goes for that. So I wanted to bring new things. So I hope I educated some people.
Which I think you've done a very good job of. I mean, I was familiar with a couple of these, but yeah, mostly pretty interesting and novel stuff. So let's talk about Göbekli Tepe.
So
what are we talking about here?
This is a city that we've just started to unearth that was intentionally buried at a point in history. Everyone's debating on the actual age of it, but chronological. We've radiocarbon method to 10,000 BCE.
Okay.
But it's just blowing the mainstream science out of the water of what we were able to do at a certain time in history.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that idea. So how do the aliens come into this?
Just that there's, I don't know. I like this. I don't know why I put this up there, actually. I don't have as much of an alien.
What I think is important is there's a vulture stone.
Ooh.
So just since this is vulture culture is the channel.
Oh, and look, it looks like a dead flamingo right there.
Oh,
it
perfect.
does.
I hate flamingos. Okay.
I was tying this more into the Anunnaki. So
let's talk about the Anunnaki then.
Backstory.
The one email that I sent you that I said do not open because my argument is gold, right?
Yeah. Well, let's not get there yet.
Oh.
Let's hold that so that we can talk a little bit more between just the two of us about let's actually debate a little bit before we get to your gold argument.
Okay.
Unless you want to just,
Yeah, you tell me.
Here's
hit me.
My starting point with this is, I think it was Carl Sagan who said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? So I'm sure you're familiar with that one, right? So my big thing with all of this is it's not that it's impossible that there could be aliens that have come to the planet. I mean, I would never be able to fully commit to that. But although these videos do look quite like what you would traditionally think of as like a UFO, were these from the 40s, by the way?
No,
these videos are
these were 2004?
No, 2004. Commander Fravor, David Fravor.
Fravor, right.
He had possible targeting over the coast of South California.
Estimated to be 40 feet long. Which, I'm so ignorant of this stuff. How long is an actual, can you look up if you don't know? You probably already know how long a fighter plane is?
Fighter planes on general basis, I think the F-22 is 26 feet long.
Okay.
If memory serves.
I'm just trying to get I would have believed that.
I don't even know how I have that number in my head. But
I don't know if that's something you can look up real quick.
Oh yeah.
But
let's hit that.
Just as an idea for trying to get my head around it. But okay, so could be aliens. It could also be a foreign nation, right? That's not impossible.
That hasn't taken credit for it.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, it's reasonable to think that there probably are other countries that have, like China, for instance. I mean, they've got quite a war machine going on right now. They're military. They're working on stuff. So, is it impossible that it's aliens? No. Is it impossible that it's man-made though?
No, it's not, because the Eurofighter is what I had in my mind when I said 26 foot or 36 foot. The F-22 is 40 foot or 44 feet in length.
See, yeah, I thought maybe like an F.
Yeah, so I mean, we have everything ranging from 36 to 172 feet. But that's the B-22 bomber, and that's wingtip to wingtip.
So here, this is perfect. Let's stick on this one.
Yeah,
this is some of my most compelling stories, at least. If you don't want to call it evidence yet.
So there should be a little ring to tighten there if that gets a
Give me
little.
1 second. Let me get in here and type some things.
Yeah. You can pull this over toward.
Again,
Go ahead.
Pull it over here. I'm gonna type off camera for you guys. So, Jesus.
And I'm gonna drink on camera.
Whoa.
I feel bad. I feel like I've been drinking more than I've been talking.
I can't do this off camera, can I?
Yeah, you can.
There we go.
Okay, so you get some nice HR Giger artwork.
Yeah, enjoy.
I literally
Okay, so what are we?
The e-money is 44 feet long.
Thank you.
But thank you for trying.
All right.
What are we looking for?
Let's see. UFO.
Yeah, let me throw it.
Always had a UFO.
Always had a UFO in the search. I thought I saw that it said.
If you put a minus sign and then anything in Wikipedia or in a Google search, it will refuse to pull up any links from that. So if you write like minus Pinterest, you will never get a Pinterest link come up.
Okay, yeah. Those are very useful. Those little search engine things.
I used to be able to get like PDFs of any textbook I wanted because of that.
So this is it's a news report. I don't know I guess the Intelligencer, and I actually pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
I can't read under pressure.
Yeah.
Clearly. So it's just the feats that it's accomplished. It's 60,000 feet to 50 feet above the Pacific Ocean, alarmingly without producing sonic booms. All told, radar operators with Princeton spent about 2 weeks attempting to figure out what the objects were. It's fair, it could be human made, but this is not just a step above our production. And I know you compare China as a military power, so no, that there are very few. There's not that many in the world right now. We're definitely a superpower.
Well, it could even, also it could be, I picked China because, it's
fine.
Right, but,
it doesn't matter.
It could be the UK, right? It doesn't even have to be an enemy.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't have to be an enemy. It could, but the amount of money and technology to put into this kind of groundbreaking propulsion systems.
Okay, so it says it exhibited ballistic missile characteristics. So, they're saying it's sort of like a missile was how it was acting, right?
In this, we saw the videos. It didn't just go straight. A ballistic, its characteristics.
Right.
It did zigzag. It changed direction multiple times. If we want,
Ryan, can you look up just because I'm ignorant to the actual topic? Can missiles zigzag, or can they maneuver? Can you look it up?
Missiles can maneuver, but they are not finely tuned to make hard right turns. Everything is done on parabolas, basically.
Right, but they can maneuver.
Yes, they can maneuver, usually based on tracking or whatever input they have.
I'm not saying it was a missile because it would be a fighter-sized missile, which I'm not aware that there's anything like that. But I'm not. There's no way that I'm going to be able to conjecture what it is.
Yeah, I guess.
When my argument would be that it's at the cutting edge of state of the art of what a secret technology someone's working on. But,
well, if memory serves, basically they started comparing the Tic Tac UFO to the movements of a hummingbird. Which, if you've ever seen a hummingbird in flight, they are very much like quick movement one direction, hover and spot. Quick movement, another direction, and everything doesn't seem to make sense. But everything was based on the actual movements that they were capable of.
Of course, E-Money worked for.
Oh my God! Yeah, E-Money knows what's up.
So, can you just tell me what we're building?
E-Money got the
E-Money.
Yeah. E-Money has the info.
Yeah. I should have brought E-Money as my backup, and you could add Ryan. Oh, damn, I missed an opportunity there.
So,
yeah, right? Yeah. We could have had them fight it out. We could have been relaxing.
That would have been fun, yeah. Just drinking.
Yeah.
So, it's here would be my general thesis here on this. Is I'm not saying I can't ever prove that it's not a UFO.
And also, if you expect me to prove UFOs on your YouTube channel, I wouldn't be coming here if I had definitive proof.
Right,
so you are asking for a lot of me.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I want you to play back on some of these, and I'll go deeper in because, like, there are, everyone listening. If I could definitively prove aliens existed, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably be dead. Like, you know, there is only so much you could do. It's just there's so many different phenomenon that I've come across, and it's just it's such an interesting thing. It really has taken my my religious beliefs, if you will. I know we're not talking about religion.
No, but go ahead.
Let's go back to it. Like, that is such a more appealing or calming, like satiating view of religion. All these gods that aren't judging us, but more just a misinterpretation of aliens taking care of the ant farm that someone bought them at one point in time.
That is hilarious. I like the idea of no judging Sky Daddy as well.
Like bringing knowledge, advancing the human race. You asked for our.
Bucky says you're about to get disappeared.
Yeah.
So it was nice knowing you, Gaetano.
Yeah. This is the last time anybody ever saw Gaetano.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And he was never heard from again.
That's also if I win Mega Million. So keep that in mind.
I expect just 1 million. Just one.
That's what you expect?
I expect 10%, which could be many million. Yes.
You gotta take taxes out.
Yeah.
You gotta take. No, he and I have a 10% deal.
Yeah.
I just want 1 mil. That's all I want.
Just one mil.
Okay.
That's such a meager.
I can live off that the rest of my life.
When we're talking about the Nephilim, we're talking about a story in the Bible.
Hoodie Doze, you are officially
the reason.
Sorry, what was that?
Hoodie Doze has requested to be officially known as Sky Daddy.
Oh, hey, what's up, Adam? How's it going, baby? I miss you.
Hi, Adam.
That's Adam. He's a classy gentleman.
Wait, which Adam? I know like.
You don't know this Adam.
Okay. Well, Adam that I do not know, you are now officially Sky Daddy in the book of.
Yes, Adam is definitely a Sky Daddy. Okay, so how do you pronounce this word?
Anunnaki.
Anunnaki. Okay, so what are the Anunnaki? And are they
mythological
aliens?
Creatures? It's can I prove they're aliens?
No.
They're the Sumerian sky god. Sumerian text, the oldest writings we've ever found.
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit, yes, is the name. Right? You're backing me up. Thank you. Mother goddess. Fact checked. So these. Let's talk about the reason why aliens may or may not have come to Earth.
Sure.
Right.
That's what's
that's our talking point. So, gold. This is my golden argument.
Okay, this is the golden argument.
It's gold.
Okay.
Why would a civilization, a group of people that are fighting for shelter, food, and procreation, our basic needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yep.
Mine gold. It has zero benefit to their lives. Maybe it looks pretty, sure. So do feathers, so do beads, so do all these different things in their society. But they've picked this one metal that's very hard to mine, has no malleable. It's very malleable, but as a metal, working tool-wise, benefiting their lives, zero.
Right.
Because you can't make a hammer out of metal and use it for more than a couple swings.
A hammer out of gold and use it for a couple of swings.
That specific metal.
Leave the fact checking to me.
No, that's what he's the one supposed to combat me.
Okay.
So
I could really let you two just go out.
Yeah.
I don't need to be here.
So my theory, or not just mine, Zachariah Sitchin wrote an entire series of books on this, that an alien entity came to Earth to mine gold, couldn't, or not just couldn't, but saw the value of advancing a proto-human to our level of intelligence to mine gold for them, and just that's why gods always have the offering of gold or food.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so that gold isn't. We're not into gold because human beings find it to be rare. Gold serves an alien purpose.
There are plenty of other rare metals on Earth, but gold is the most efficient for, as you might know, electronic transfer. And
we're using gold-tipped audio cables.
Aren't we fancy?
Yeah.
So that was the best reasoning for an alien civilization to interact with humans, and why we've advanced from any other animal. There's no other sentient life form on Earth if we're just going evolutionary. No octopi are
I've heard there's recently a controversy actually among biologists that it might actually should be octopuses.
Oh,
There's also octopuses.
that's probably not science. That's more literary. That's like English doctorate. That's not a. Like,
I don't know.
Right? Anyway, yeah.
It doesn't even matter, but it's so funny.
But there. Like I said, or where my point was, is that something brought us into this age. It brought us into this enlightenment. The Garden of Eden kicking you out. All these things. The Zechariah Sitchin. Yeah, what are the people saying?
No, I'm just moving this over while we're chatting here. We can jump over to this and then jump back when we're
Good call. Good call.
Well, we're not looking at anything in particular.
Yeah, or we could leave it like that and I could Google shit.
Yeah,
so I know what the hell I'm saying.
That would have been good too.
Hey, we're getting this together, guys. We're
figuring this out. This is a SCUM experiment, obviously.
Fuck.
Yeah.
This is actually really hot, so I'm taking it off.
Okay.
It was
Here,
cute.
I'll
It was
put the air
cute.
down a little bit more.
Yeah. So the reason for can you? Oh.
Okay, so here would be my first question too, though. Is there? What do you think the aliens want gold for?
So, when we tried to solve the hole in the ozone layer, we've, in the 1970s, proposed suspending reflective particles in our ozone to reflect UV radiation.
To create a shield for UV radiation.
And for electronics, everyone's phone in their pocket has precious metals, gold, silver. Why would a god, in cultures across the world, Mayan, Aztec, El Dorado, to Africa, to even Europe, we've all had an obsession with gold. China, Asia.
Yeah, it is a human universal.
It's a human universal, as are dragons, which is another interesting alien debate.
Hey, save the dragons for my Nido debate.
Well, we're gonna cross over because dragons are always the gold mongering being.
Oh, it's true, isn't it?
That have scales that are impenetrable, loud boom, noxious gas, flaming mouths, which describes a spaceship, in my mind.
Okay.
And if there was a way to describe a spaceship for a lesser evolved or experienced being, it would be an animal, because you can't describe a vehicle with never seeing any type of vehicle.
Yeah, sure.
So where did the myth of a dragon come from that came across different continents that didn't interact, but they all have this same crossover being?
Actually, inaccurate.
Inaccurate?
Yes.
Go for it.
The idea of a dragon, as we refer to dragons, does exist across multiple continents and everything.
So that's right.
Each continent has a very different interpretation of dragons. If you go to Asian culture, specifically China and Japan, have very serpentine dragons lacking wings.
Can they fly?
Yes, all of them can fly. That is the one thing in
common. But they can't. But
they're very serpentine in body. They are literally described as being anywhere between 40 and 150 feet long.
So we're going to pretend we don't have the internet right now, and we're just going to go off your definition for debate purposes. So every culture has a dragon. You're arguing the semantics of wings or not.
Well, not only that, but because if you go to Eastern Europe, they have the definition of dragon as being two-legged and two-winged, whereas Western Europe has the four-legged and two-winged definition of a dragon.
Okay.
And so you do have that definition of dragon changing. And then if you go to like Mayan and such, they have the definition of a dragon having the serpentine body with wings but no legs.
Yes. All perfect. So they all have different variations of it, which if you go to different cultures, they have different words for what animal noises sound like. If you go to every different culture, every different language, you ask them what sound a dog makes, it's not bark, bark, or woof, woof. Or a chicken does not make the same noise in English as it does in Spanish. And that's the only one I know, and I'm not saying it on record because it's embarrassing.
Actually, fun fact, the Egyptian word for cat is meow.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, that's hilarious.
Egyptians actually named their animals the same way we name Pokemon, based on the sound they make.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about gold for a second.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is something you can look up for me or if you already know, Ryan, but I always was under the assumption that gold is valuable because it's rare but not too rare. So platinum is rarer. And it's in the same column on the periodic table, right? I believe so. I believe copper, silver, gold, and platinum. You can fact check me on that if you want. They're all in the same column. And just like everything on the periodic table, they're sort of arranged in a natural way as to, like things work out well on the periodic table. What I'm interested in is, or what I understand about gold is it's rare enough, but not as rare as platinum. So platinum's so rare that people don't even know what they're dealing with when they found it, like in primitive cultures we're talking about, right? So maybe Egyptians would be a good example. If they had some platinum, there's not enough that there's even like a market value for it. But gold is rare enough, but not so rare that there is a market value for it, right? I think that's part of why, at least if you go with there aren't aliens, right? So I want to linger on the gold point first so we can actually really start putting some
Yeah, let's go.
So are we saying that it's because aliens use it to prevent their own planet from...
Well, you'd have to ask them, obviously.
No, but there is a potential theory would be...
There is utilization that we've found in the modern day, now that we've come into this era with electricity, that finds uses for gold that we never had throughout history. But for some reason, we've always used gold as a value marker. And for some reason, gods and religions and dragons or any of these kind of unknown beings or entities that we may why is that something that it would utilize or appreciate as a figure of value,
So I mean, it's sort of similar to jewels too, right? Like jewels have always been associated with wealth, and there's all sorts of different jewels that, a ruby is less rare than an emerald, so emeralds are more expensive, and diamonds are a bad example, right? Because that's the whole
because they're hard.
Diamonds are a joke, right? Like they're actually pretty common compared to a lot of other stuff out there.
But utilization-wise, they have
in the 1930s.
But
diamonds have they're one of the hardest. I'm sure there's something harder, but they have a utilization.
That's true, but the rest of the jewels don't really, right?
Actually, not true. Rubies are used for a lot of calibration for CNC type machines and stuff like that. In fact, I know a lot of I've toured a lot of machine plants that use ruby-tipped CNC style machines as part of their calibration system, and to kind of help figure out exactly where they are because the rubies refract at just the right rate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is kind of cool. But I mean, I'm thinking especially for like primitive cultures.
Did we lose everybody?
Dogs don't bark in Spanish.
Don't bark in Spanish. I will say,
it's more. I was going the clue.
Okay, actually, Adam has a really good kind of counterpoint here, which is that many metals are more rare, harder to get, better conductors, and many other properties. So, don't hover the mouse over that.
My bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, sorry. Yeah.
I was actually I was doing stuff on that point, and I was about to bring it up. So I pulled up the periodic table. So gold is atomic number 79. Silver is number 47, which is actually in the same column. So if you look right here, that's gold right there, silver's right there, and copper's right there. So for your D&D nerds, it's all in the same line. There is no electrum. Fuck electrum.
What about RG there? What's that?
On which side?
On the same column.
That is one of those only created in a lab that lasted like 4 minutes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I thought platinum was in the same one, but
platinum is number 78, so it's one atomic number less than gold.
Oh, interesting.
Lead, now, for anybody that knows anything about alchemy or anything like that, lead is number 82 on the atomic spectrum. And now one of the big things in alchemy was turning lead to gold.
Right, yeah, of course.
They both have the exact same density, even though they're off by 4 atomic numbers. So it's one of those interesting things where like people want, like, the whole concept of a philosopher's stone is to turn lead to gold because that was the ultimate goal of an alchemist.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Besides extending life unregularly.
Right. Okay. So on the topic of what Adam brought up, though, it seems like there's probably better conductors, better elements out there than gold, just for if we were going with like that aliens needed it for something. So based
on Adam's point, all of those actually elements are in the same area. Platinum is atomic number 78, while palladium is atomic number 46. Sorry, my phone is fuzzy on some of these.
So maybe they're learning too, and they found that element, but they didn't know gold was the only option.
Right. And Bucky chimes in with a pretty good comment on your side of the thing, which is, but also aliens, assuming they're more intelligent to them, they may have more use for gold. All of our assumptions are based only on what we know about metals, which is true. Yeah, that it could be that there's a property of gold that we don't know about yet.
Invest in gold. Let's do it.
Yeah. But
actually, fun fact: the value of gold goes up whenever the stock market goes down.
Yeah, it is counteractive.
Oh, is that so that it? Because when the market's not doing so well, people are like, they want to hoard something. No,
it's actually because the U.S. dollar used to be based off of gold standard.
Right.
So it was based on how much gold we physically had.
Sure.
And then after that, they just kind of go, okay, well, so if this much gold is worth this many dollars, then we're going to use that as our starting point for the stock market. So the more dollars we have available, the less value the gold has. The less dollars we have available, the more gold value has.
Okay. So anyways, it's an interesting point, though, about that maybe gold is sort of useful to aliens in a way that it's not useful to humans. And
it wasn't at a certain time, because now it's more useful to us.
The other interesting aspect is that platinum and palladium are visually indecipherable from silver.
Yeah.
And while they may be better conductors and everything like that, if you
stupid
have a bunch
monkey
of
men.
Exactly. I could, if you put platinum, palladium, silver in front of me, I could not tell you what the difference between each of them were unless I had one thing, and that's sulfur. Because sulfur was the only element that'll tarnish on silver. And so I would actually be able to figure out which one of the three is silver because of the sulfur.
God damn, you know a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That goes back to my vampire and werewolves conversation.
Because,
they say silver is the purifying element, so...
Apparently, Adam says silver and platinum do not look the same.
Boom.
So
I'm getting a beer while you guys argue that.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone need anything?
We're gonna fight.
No, I'm good.
You need another beer.
Yeah, go grab some cans. He can't really move that.
Nope.
That chair doesn't roll like ours do, unfortunately.
Slow.
There we go. Can you look up for me, if you don't mind, if there is a visual difference between silver and platinum, just out of curiosity, while Tano grabs a couple more beers. I'm really interested, though. I mean, it is a kind of a cool idea, like at least the theory of maybe there's a difference there. Also, I can definitely hear, like, when you search on the internet, you can hear the interference going through the audio equipment.
Aliens?
All right.
You can hear? You sure?
Something like that.
So I'm trying to find a good picture on here.
Sorry, I should open it.
Most of these pictures are comparing white gold to platinum.
Yeah, they're both silverish, but they're not the same. Okay, cheers.
Ryan,
thank you guys so much for doing this. It's a lot of fun.
Of course.
Okay, so big picture again, because it's we can go down some of the evidence you have anytime you want. We can do more evidence-based stuff or looking at articles.
Okay.
I think. Okay.
Does anyone text me with anything that I could use?
So based on the pictures that I'm looking at here, we do have silver having a slightly more whitish tint to it, while platinum goes slightly more gray-blue.
Interesting.
So it's like, but if you looked at it, it is like near indecipherable unless you have them labeled right next to each other.
Yeah, but I can definitely see.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, if you were to
someone whose job it is to look at metals could tell the difference.
Yes.
And there's also different golds that look white gold, right? That kind of looks like silver. So,
and that's because of the chemical impurities and stuff like that. Same way that you have yellow and blue and red sapphires.
Okay, so let's pull. What's that thing?
This is one of the famous UFO encounters with a.
Okay, why don't we pull this up? So go to desktop capture with guest over there. Okay.
I was gonna say, so I believe this was.
There we go. Okay, so we'll pull this up here.
About how no, it was Amanda that fought.
Here, I'm going to read what Bucky said here. Random thought: aliens created humans as guinea pigs to test. They placed the humans on planets to see how long we would live. Once all life on this planet has died out, they moved to the next planet. All of the other planets in our system are past failed experiments. Oh, that's an interesting one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Intriguing. I don't think every single planet would suffice as a failed experiment.
No, but definitely Venus and Mars are interesting for that reason. I mean, so there could be aliens in not the way we're talking about. We're talking about intelligent alien life that would influence human history today. But there are like potential for microbes, and Mars used to have oceans and stuff like that. And Venus, maybe they didn't get enough gold to stop the
or degrade the atmosphere to live.
Right, because Venus is full of carbon, and that's why it's such a toxic place to live. Right.
Well, I was gonna say
we're doing COVID masks. Sorry, keep going. Keep talking. Talk.
Yeah. So
I know Venus actually has toxic rain, but I can't remember what chemical it is. I drink too much.
It's serious.
No, Sirius is a different astrological body.
Yes. Yeah. He's also a godfather, you know. Okay, so what are we looking at here now?
Oh, nice Harry Potter. For a second. I apologize.
Yeah. The only problem with Sirius
this is
a fucking
COVID. What is it? Like, it's not made yet, but it's
prototype.
Thank you. COVID masks that people would wear. If you put eye holes on that, it kind of looks like the grays, the typical alien, gray alien.
Yeah.
So if there's an alien wearing some type of face apparatus, it's kind of what we would wear. I'm just going with.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Ray Allen. No.
It's good. Yeah.
Oh, it says
that. Yeah, and then images.
Yeah. So that's not even the best, obviously.
Do we know? I don't know who Alternative Artists Media Group is, but they brought up the point of.
I think that's George.
Angels. Okay, hi George, if that is you.
Yeah, cheers to you, George.
But they brought up the fact that aliens, fairies, demons, and angels are mental constructs that we create for us to communicate and understand with. But that the different entities live on and in different dimensions.
So everyone is thinking that as a skull, but if you're thinking of a face mask,
right?
There are so many full face masks.
Well, I was gonna say that.
Okay, actually, I want to look something up real quick. If you don't mind.
Of course.
All right, so
we'll
go
back
to
the first Back to the Future movie where he shows up in the full hazmat gear and says
skeptic alien.
Yeah, no. Search this real quick.
Are you bringing my mother in?
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is the thing that we're looking for. Okay, so what's interesting here is this theory that it's in Skeptic magazine, so of course you're going to hate it, but I found pretty convincing. So what they did is they looked at the visual, the fact that when babies are born, they're nearsighted and cross-eyed and they don't see color. And what's interesting about that is when you look at a mother's face, but you apply to that photo the same, like the blur and the cross-eyedness and everything of what it would be like for a baby to look at the mother, the photo, like, so this is a unprocessed young female face, and that's what it looks like as it might be seen by a newborn, processed to represent a contrast sensitivity of 3 cycles.
That looks like most
stigmatism and extremely shallow depth of focus, right? So when you look at this, you can see how this image right here actually
Sorry, the arts one is.
Oh, it's Joseph. Oh, how's it going, my brother? I miss and love you so much. You would be the perfect guy to have here to talk about aliens.
Those last two pictures just remind me of every girl I've ever met at Harry's.
Yes, they look just like this. So, but here's the counter argument to what you're talking about, it being something like a mask or a helmet, space helmet, right? Is that this is sort of almost programmed into all of us because we saw this when we were a baby, right? This is what mom looked like when we were a baby, and it looks startlingly like what we think of when we think of a gray alien.
You can hit the tab and it'll flash back. Nope, one more.
Yeah. It looks very similar to
any one of those,
to
really.
any one of them, right? So it's almost like a sort of an archetype of what we are born with, like, so, and it would sort of explain why we have this one thing that kind of crosses a lot of cultures. So it could be that there are aliens that look like this, or there are face masks or helmets that look like this, and we're really just seeing the same thing again and again. Or it could be that because we have this like image programmed into us all because it's what we saw when we were a baby, and we, obviously there's no understanding, there's no color, right? So it's gray, it's stretched, the eyes are black, the nose looks flat, and it's just like two little slits, right? I mean, it really does look like the and I'm not saying that is what it is, but it's a plausible counter argument to why we have this enshrined as the image of a gray alien.
All right, so two things from the comments. One, Joseph says we need a call-in number for the next debate. Next time we will go ahead and just tell you like one of our Instagram or whoever's acting as.
I mean, we got cell phones. Everyone wants to call in. We got we
literally can put you on speakerphone now.
Everybody's got my phone number.
But
No one's calling in right now.
Only if anyone calls in on.
There's no good way to record it with what we have. If I had it set up where we could record it well, I would absolutely love to have Joseph on.
Second point of interest. Nikki was talking about the suits that they use when they intubate COVID patients is relatively akin to the hood of a spacesuit. So that was something I thought interesting. I also thought it very interesting that most of the time that we hear the stories of alien abductions, and they describe the little gray men and everything, typically in a situation like that, you would be heavily sedated and drugged. So if you're really out of your senses and everything like that, like, I know when I drink a lot, people look a lot like that. So if you're under, and that's just me. After about a bottle of Wild Turkey.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Tell me, fuck it. I don't have the headphones.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Pockets. Sit on your hands. Sit on your hands. But so if literally a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 makes it so that everyone looks like gray aliens to me, what will...
Looks like when you first saw her.
Let's not talk about my mother. That's a very...
Okay.
Yeah, both of us.
Nikki can relate.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah, all of us.
This is
cheers.
But yeah, cheers to mommy issues. Yeah. Woo. Would have never met Joseph if I didn't have mommy issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I believe it. Whoever he was.
So that was a great counterpoint. That's a great counterpoint, and
it's up to the viewers to decide what they think on that. So let's go on to another point, and let's really dig in on something else.
And by the way, we're playing by Whose Line Is It Anyways point system, where the rules are made up and points don't matter. So right now, Gaetano is leading Alex 5 points to 7.
I'll take it.
5 points to 7.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Adam, I'm going to set up Discord and be able to have there be all sorts of stuff in the future. We're just not set up for today. Discord. Today, we're just keeping it to the 3 guys in the room for the sake of simplicity.
A SCUM Family's Discord would be a great idea.
It already exists. I just haven't, Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to focus on? Okay, what do we have here? Let's
go with the Voyager disc.
Wait, you make money off a 900 number? What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a big scam where guys would go to buildings in New York, and they would go to the basement, and they'd hook into the phone lines. There's telephones you could clip onto a phone line back in the day. Even you can still do it now. And they would call 900 numbers from the basement of a building in New York using the phone lines of apartments unsuspectingly. And they just sit there and dial 900 numbers. Anyway. See, I got some interesting facts.
I'm
too.
not surprised that you know what Joseph's talking about here.
Nice.
Con artist knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge that
We're not
Yeah,
con
yeah.
artists. We're saying
Sorry,
lucrative.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, creative,
Street
lucrative methodology.
Yes. Thank you.
Italian methodology.
Speaking of gold.
Okay, so let's talk about
This is
gold.
the Voyager probe we sent out. We included a disc, which let's hope it has a bigger version.
Well, just click on
If you
it.
go to image in a new tab
Yeah.
and then click on that.
And zoom. Hold control
yeah.
for me.
Here.
Teamwork.
Okay.
It's close
It's not
enough.
great, but it's fine for the
So
just what we're looking at.
when
here.
we sent something out to space, we created a record. You know about this, right, Alex? I'm not enlightening you, right?
Right, so the Voyager space probe, is that what we
Yeah,
call
Voyager Space Probe. This is a
it? We put
record.
we put a vinyl record on it, yeah.
Yeah, well,
or
it's
it
made
was
out
a
of
gold
gold.
record, but the same
And the
technology.
instructions to create a record player. We put a baby crying, male, male, female, just in case someone one day finds that to to recreate. It's just that the government is, or anyone going out into space is preparing for the time when we do meet another race or another
Okay,
entity.
so well, let's focus on the Voyager disk. So how is this evidence that contributes to your argument about aliens having influenced human history?
Influence because the possible existence made us create this to possibly contact them. I don't know. That's
Okay,
just all bullshit.
Well, so, I was
was
going
like,
to say,
pull that out of my
I think
ass.
it's a totally cool endeavor to want to find aliens, right? But that's not really evidence that the aliens have been here. So let's move on to the next thing. Then.
Yeah, it's not-
yeah. Well,
but
like the SETI program is really cool, where they're
To
like
find-
we're
yeah.
looking up at the sky and looking for
Chat's
radio
blowing
waves.
up. Yep, I'm listening. Sorry.
I was gonna
The
say,
phone
so,
thing.
so far
The
what
fracking.
chat has brought up was freaking is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Doing the 900 numbers.
Okay.
We also had two different quotes about the abductions being by government agents heavily drugging you, and that just looks like what you'd see when a bunch of government agents highly drug you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
fair
that's
point.
an interesting point,
There we
Bucky.
go.
Yeah, maybe the alien phenomenon is just, and I would say that is a big part of my argument would be that.
And then Nikki's saying that she's right as always.
Well, of course she is.
Allegedly.
Yeah, of course,
I have
Nikki's
to
right.
agree, Nikki is always right 100% of the time.
I'm never going to bring Nikki on for a debate because there's no debate, right?
I thought
Yeah.
she was coming. Oh,
What did Joseph
we'll talk
say? Something
that
about fairies. Can you read that to me?
later. Which one?
The comment before Bucky, if that's the live chat
yes.
I'm looking at.
Oh, fairies, not very.
Fairies, yeah.
Yeah,
like
fairies.
Basically, he said the same abduction stories existed long ago. We just called them fairies whenever they abducted us instead of aliens.
Right, and I could
But
see.
that could just be an evolution.
I can see it from both sides with that one, right? Because if we really are getting abducted, then it would make sense that we interpret that as fairies.
yeah, but
or
fairies are bullshit, and they only abduct when you're under a year old
or
because then they can replace.
right, or there's the side of it which is that there's like this deeply human need to tell these types of stories, right? It's a fear story. It's a, and because of that, we over the years we change it. Now that fairies are implausible, no one would believe a fairy
Well, there
tale.
are people that do believe
Yeah,
the
what do you
Fae.
mean?
Yeah,
No one
sure,
would believe
sure.
in fairies. I literally keep a stockpile of horseshoes on my house to deal with
But
fairies.
that's what we have Renaissance fairs for, is that filters all of those
We
people.
apparently don't anymore because apparently the actual plague stopped Renaissance fairs.
That
I think
is,
it would add to the realism.
That's a funny, that's an irony. That's hilarious. Yeah, I never really thought about that. But yeah, so it could be that fairies are just a kind of like a.
Night, Nikki. We love you.
Good night.
Good night, Nikki.
I love you most.
Yeah.
I'm legally required to say that.
Vegas Sun says, "Is this the place where you talk about doing too many uppers and seeing alien faces? Is that a thing, by the way?
No, that's tiny. That's
Oh.
not a thing. That's so rude of you to refer to him like that. he didn't know your name.
Yeah. Hey, Tiny, how are you doing, brother? So let's talk about this for a second. Is it, we could talk about hallucinogens in like sort of the spiritualist way, but isn't it more plausible just to say that people were fucking around with hallucinogens back in the day and they were seeing some shit, right? Like a lot of, I know there's a theory that Moses, for instance, the burning bush would be some sort of, hallucinogenic thing.
Yeah, the acacia tree has DMT.
Yeah. And that's what sort of got this whole God idea going.
Well, so we do have the idea, especially when it comes to the book of Revelation, which some of those, which the chariots in the sky on clouds and stuff was quoted from. We do have that idea of it being prophetic visions and stuff, which, depending on which culture you go to, actually, like I know the Greeks very heavily focused on hallucinogenics for their soothsayers and their oracles. In fact, one of the best depictions of that, honestly, I've seen in a movie was in the movie 300. Their depiction of the oracle with the vents and stuff like that, as well as in a couple episodes of Doctor Who did the same thing, where they depicted the oracles around vents in the ground that had a lot of volcanic action underneath them, providing visions and stuff like that. There were a lot of hallucinogens that came to the evidence of these visions and stuff like that, and everything would be very similar to how it is today, where everything was just vague enough where it's like, yeah, that could apply to me. It's like, oh yeah, looking back on this is exactly what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things we always have to worry about whenever we talk about psychics versus fakes versus real ones, where it's like, okay, so this one said something and I'm like, it may have been just vague enough that it would apply to anywhere, but it also could have been actually specific. So it's one of those, it's a very fine edge blade. That
my argument would just be like, one of my friends who does a lot of hallucinogens, he's
Which
also,
one?
Yeah, I know. He's also one of the most like anti-supernatural, just totally atheistic, totally doesn't believe in anything type people. And this looks good, whatever you're about to pull up. But
keep going.
The idea here is that he said to me one time that on the most extreme trip he took off of some Chinese research chemicals, that he would have thought he met God if he didn't know better. He was like, because I know what I think about, that there can't be a God for all the reasons that he doesn't believe in God. He was like, but this thing that I'm experiencing feels like I really am meeting God right now. Yeah. And so my argument would be, we know that a lot of Native American, North and South American peoples were taking hallucinogens, right? Yes. So it's not impossible to think that some of them could have taken some stuff that we all know makes you see shit.
But most of the things I brought up, I could have gone into specific people's encounter, and I didn't go into that because of that argument, that counter argument. Right. I tried to find things that were general mass hysteria, like the Nuremberg, the Foo Fighters, the LA. That was a squadron, a battalion, whatever they call it. I'm not a military guy, but the anti-aircraft. And yes, that is a good point. With the bullets couldn't have reached that high, or they weren't rated for that high. But at 100 or 1,400 rounds, a bullet will travel as far as it needs to travel with gravity. Like, these are mass hysteria. Yeah. So every single person needs to be drugged.
No, I agree with that.
Argument to hold any water.
We got a lot of comments going on.
Yeah, I was about to bring up all the context. Currently, Tiny is Vega?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tiny and E-Money are both talking about how the fact that population sizes, with the fact that like you have a country the size of Texas with a population of a major city right now, the experiences of a single individual will have far more impact on that. Yes, that is a very true anthropological element.
Yes, yeah.
But at the same time...
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, and then Joseph was bringing up some reading if anyone wants to do. In fact, I want to go find this book now. A book called Passport to Magonia, which is From Folklore to Flying Saucers by Jacques Vallée, which is kind of talking about the evolution from fairies and such to the UFOs, where it's like, I guess based on what he's saying here, we'll be able to talk about the fact that we're going from people that have figured out how to explain everything here on Earth. We just can't explain anything up more than like 5 miles above the Earth's atmosphere.
I think Tiny has a pretty good point here, just about imagine 8 people with sub 80 IQs that couldn't read spreading stories about aliens. I mean, that is maybe the most succinct counter argument against some of the oldest historical accounts of like the Nephilim and the Anunnaki, right? And we're just saying that we're talking about Iron Age peasants who were isolated and didn't know anything about anything. And like, so for instance, like the Book of Revelation is a trip. If you haven't read it, like, it's fucking insane.
Makes for a great D&D campaign.
It is literally Lovecraftian in the fact that you've got like monsters that with covered in eyes and shit. Like, it's really trippy.
Also, fun fact: 666 was never mentioned once in the Book of
Right,
Revelation.
it's just the number of the beast.
Well, so it's actually part of numerology. There are numerologists out there that study the text of the Bible and everything like that. So they've determined that 666 is the number of the beast, 888 is actually the number of perfection / the number of God, stuff like that.
I always thought it was 999 because it was flipped over, but that's just me.
I actually read an article at one point that the math was wrong off of like the translation, and it was actually 616.
There are arguments for that, but I mean, then you also have...
I kind of want that area code now.
Also, if you ever get the chance, look up some of the more modern day translations of the Bible, because they are fucking hilarious.
So let's not get too far off track here.
Sorry. Nikki brought up the fact that I brought up a couple weeks ago when we did the radio show about how realistic some of these radio shows can be.
Yeah.
Babe, I love the fact
Overreacting, yeah.
Well, right. So the War of the Worlds, when it was a radio play, the way it was depicted and everything, people started losing their shit thinking aliens had actually...
because they were screaming, aliens are attacking the city. Like, they in the beginning of it said, this is just a broadcast, it's a story depiction, and then people started tuning in as it went
if you
along.
don't tune in right at the beginning.
Yeah, if you weren't there, like, at the beginning of this podcast, they didn't, like, not that, no, they would understand this podcast, and I'm struggling. But, But
okay, so what are we looking at over here?
These are just different cave drawings, depictions that people have.
Man, that one to the right of it is extremely...
Oh, that's phallic?
Pick that one. I don't care about the phallic. Phallic is cool.
This one. Pick one.
No, it's just this guy right here.
This guy.
Yeah.
That's left,
Right
Alex.
click on that. And open that in a new image. Yeah, let's look at this guy. And then control, you said? Yeah, perfect. Just like that. Those are just absolutely disturbing. Like, just visually, they're quite good.
But it's the halo around angels. That space helmet.
Yeah, so all of these have halos around them. Okay, so talk to me about that. How do you interpret that?
I interpret it as a depiction of an alien or angel, messenger of God, bringer of this, that,
But the halo specifically, sorry, that's what I'm asking about.
It's a helmet.
It's a helmet. Okay.
Have you seen the?
See, I
type in astronaut.
I call that
type
really
in
good
astronaut.
backlighting.
Oh, sure.
You put a really good light back here. Give it. No, my phone light might not be good enough.
Sure. Open image.
Yeah.
Fair.
So we can alternate. I'll hold control so you can zoom in a little bit. So what you're saying is that when we're looking at these cave paintings here, we're actually looking at...
Look at this very... Like, there weren't fat people back then as much. We didn't have McDonald's. The people were, I would like, to this. If you were trying
to...
No,
I see it. Yeah, it is quite...
Bucky's selling out for us.
Selling out.
Oh, thank you very much, Bucky. I appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, I'm missing a lot of the comments here. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, okay, go ahead. So fill us in on what's going on.
Yeah.
Andy, I'm not sure what break-ins have to do with anything. Vega, I do like the concept that you're bringing up, the fact that they don't protect themselves from where the gods should be, quote unquote. They only protect themselves from where man could attack from. However, I mean, you also have the issue that the fact Mount Olympus was a super climbable mountain, and they still believe that the gods lived up on top of that because no one ever took the time to actually climb up there.
I love Joseph's comment. I believe most Abrahamic religions are part cargo cult, part LARP, and then just like everything else, power corrupts.
Yeah.
So
I can see you starting a religion off a LARP session.
Yeah. Well, there is that very LARPy
I am your new
component.
god.
Tossing snakes and...
We did touch upon the cargo cult, and I
think maybe before Joseph was here. Yeah, we talked about cargo cults for a bit.
That is a perfect way to describe my honest beliefs in the world. Is that if we were describing an alien encounter, bringing it as a god and carrying it through the years and being corrupted by humanity, like we're just fallible creatures, using it to their advantage when these creatures left and haven't contacted us since, because who knows what their basis of time is. They're traveling light years, so our concept of time is nothing like theirs.
Okay, so let's bring that up.
Let's go.
Ryan, can you look up how many light years the nearest galaxy is, which I think is Alpha Centauri, but I could be wrong about that.
Well, while I'm Googling that, have you ever heard of dead-end journeys as far when it refers to space travel?
No.
So a dead-end journey is literally like if you set off for a destination that you are never able to actually reach due to the fact of galactic expansion. So the way the universe expands, there are certain places that we could leave from Earth today and never reach it, just because the universe is expanding at a rate that would go, like, even if we had faster
assuming
than light travel,
you couldn't travel faster than light.
No, this is assuming you can travel faster than light.
Okay.
The universe is expanding at a rate in which that even if you were traveling faster than the speed of light, you would never be able to reach that place, purely because it's expanding further away faster than we can get there.
We'd have to just match the speed that it's expanding, and not that it's. If you were going faster than light anyway, why are we putting a limit on how fast you can actually travel?
That would be my question mark there.
Or space-time, which
but
is.
But anyways, let's talk about how far away
the nearest galaxies.
Okay, so this would be probably the strongest argument I have against
25,000 light years.
25,000 light years.
Yes.
Okay, so
now, fun fact, if you travel at the speed of light, you don't age. Based on quantum physics.
Are we talking like special relativity here, like the whole idea?
Relativity.
Yeah, which
we'll assume it is correct. I would assume, yeah.
Based on Einstein's theory, the closer you are traveling to the speed of light, the less quickly you age. That's why gravitational forces and in fact, one of the best examples of this was the movie Matthew McConaughey,
Interstellar.
Yes.
I thought it was Sahara.
No. That's another great movie, but that's another conversation.
But
no, with Interstellar, the fact that the gravitational differences age them faster and everything, to the point that him and his daughter ended up being the exact same age at some point in the movie, did bring a lot of credence, because the closer you are, or the stronger the gravitational influences are on you, the faster you age, and the slower time progresses, and therefore you age slower.
Right. Well, okay, so Interstellar science is pretty good because they got Kip Thorne actually as a consultant on it. But here...
they made one of the androids out after him.
So but here's the general thesis here. So I'm not sure you don't age at all when you're moving at the speed of light.
It changes time perception.
Yeah, well, it's definitely that time is different. Yeah, it's the idea that there's one constant time across the universe. That's not really held up by special relativity, because space-time is in of itself the thing. Instead of there being in classical physics, like Newtonian physics, we've got space and time. They're on different axes.
Right, because theoretically, if you put like us exactly as we are on a planet with twice the gravity we have, we age half as fast.
Well, relative to someone else.
Relative to how we would age.
Yeah, it's not that we don't age twice as fast. It's relative to a universal observer.
Right.
Yeah. So the idea...
You had a Q.
Yeah, and this is proven just by satielites that orbit the Earth. So if you have a clock on Earth and you have a clock on a satellite, right? So just for anybody who's not listening, they actually have to be synced, because there's a difference in... The satellite's time will be different than our time, and it'll slowly go out of sync, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but digital things have to be in perfect sync to work, right? So it's as proven as anything ever was that this effect is real. But if you think about, even if we could move at 25, or at the speed of light, 25,000 light years is a long fucking way to go, right? What's the oldest thing on Earth? Like 300, 400-year-old Greenland shark.
Oh, like the oldest living or the
Animal.
active, like not extinct, because there's been dinosaurs to this to that.
Well, I mean,
we're
we're going off of what we know exists. I don't know if we have any proof that a dinosaur lived for, like, it would be shocking.
The oldest thing on Earth, due to carbon dating and everything, is the zircon crystals from Australia's Jack Hills, and they are registered at 4.375 billion years old, which would be just 165 million years after the Earth formed.
Yes, I'm not saying what was the first thing on Earth. I'm saying currently, what is the oldest thing on Earth?
What's the oldest living organism?
Yeah.
Like,
how long could something live? Because that's the critical point too. Could you if you were moving at the speed of light?
Jellyfish.
25,000. Okay, so you're.
Well, what's the oldest living?
They're
jellyfish?
literally immortal. Jellyfish and lobsters.
They're hypothetically immortal, right? Same thing with
and
lobsters.
You're not counting in future generations. If you're taking a ship, and we've seen a bunch of sci-fi.
Okay, so like District 9. Yeah. Well, that's actually an interesting.
An alien species has carried generation upon generation to reach this.
Let's talk about that in a second once we get just through this point.
All right, so the oldest living organism is a bristlecone pine in the White Mountains of California called Methuselah, which are currently standing at the ripe old age of about 5,000 years old.
5,000 years old.
Which makes it the oldest non-cloned organism on Earth.
Cool. We're definitely getting some interesting feedback every time you look something up online. But so my argument would be, even if we were trees, which we're not, anything that we're talking about would be more like humans than they would be like trees. Agreed? Most likely. I mean, of course, there's always like, you go really sci-fi and things.
Well, I was going to
say, we're trying to make a reasonable understanding of what we would guess aliens to be like, right?
Well, but at the same time, if you were traveling at the speed of light, we technically would not age. In fact, if you travel faster than the speed of light, we would technically age backwards. Theoretically. Okay,
so my understanding of the theoretical part of this, and I actually just listened to a podcast from Sean Carroll, who's an expert on time, is, again, it's relative to other things. Yes. So if you're moving faster than the speed of light, it would appear to be that you're going back in time to another observer. But you're still aging. You're still going. You're aging just as fast as you ever were.
Which is where Doctor Who gets very confused.
Yeah. So, but it would be one of those things where you would appear to get someplace before you left from someone else's perspective.
Correct.
That's faster than the speed of light. A couple of things here. We're all very programmed by sci-fi movies to like in Star Wars and in Star Trek, speed of light, that's not a big deal. Like they could just sort of go faster than the speed of light. They, Star Wars especially, right? Like they're going way faster than the speed of light.
Well, so fun fact about that, one of the more common things about Star Wars is the Kessel Run, quote unquote, that we see that Solo always brags about.
Yeah.
He brags about doing it in 12 parsecs. Parsec is
it's
not
time, not distance,
it's not
right?
time, it is distance.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. That makes sense.
Because everyone always thinks he's bragging about how fast he did it. No, he's bragging about how short of a distance he did, because the Kessel Run actually experienced, well, as you saw in the Solo movies, there's a lot of weird shit in there, but it was mostly black holes. So the fact that he was basically saying we could fly this close to a black hole,
that is kind of cool.
I
do appreciate that fact. That he's saying that he did it using black holes, thus proving, and we're arguing them coming to this planet.
Yeah, now we're talking about Star Wars. Yeah.
Well, you're trying to theorize how they could make it here.
Yeah.
So using Star Wars, and I'm just pulling this out of nowhere, is making it in 12 parsecs, crossing 25,000 light years worth of space in 12 parsecs is jumping black hole to black hole to cross that distance.
Well, no, so it wasn't jumping black hole to black hole. It was the fact that he was saying he could get close enough to these black holes that instead of going circumventing around them and going this way, he was able to go much straighter line.
Oh, okay. Well,
because what you're going into is going to open up a whole different can of wormholes.
Yeah. No, and so we can absolutely talk about wormholes, but let me get this point out first, because we're just trying to say this one thing, which is that So a tree, we've got a 5,000-year-old tree. I want to say like the closest thing that I can think of that reminds us of us would be like a Greenland shark, which is something like 300 to 500 years old. So we're talking about a magnitude of many more times we would have to live. So if we were able to get on a spaceship to leave Earth to go to, what's the nearest galaxy?
I didn't know what the name was. But it was
25,000 light years.
Yeah,
at the speed of light.
Yeah, I mean, we could never, even if we were moving at the speed of light, a human could never do it.
If you have a 25-year lifespan of a generation, you would do it in 1,000 generations.
So, okay, so is that the most plausible counter argument to you?
Or if you have 1,000 generation or 1,000-year generational gap, you'd only have to go 25 generations.
Right.
You don't know the biological makeup of the entity.
No, but just being
capabilities.
Canis Major.
Or what?
Or the speed capabilities. If it's going 25,000 light years and you're traveling at the speed of light, if they're doubling it, if they're 25 timesing the speed of light.
It's always possible that we could learn something about physics and it could upend everything.
Like every time we've learned something about physics.
Well, that's actually a myth. So the idea that when physics, like, it's just an explosion of like someone discovers something and it upends everything, that's really not accurate. It's more like things just get more finer honed, right? So Lawrence Krauss wrote a book about that the idea that physics gets upended every time, like special relativity is again just finer tuning Newtonian ideas, right? So Newtonians
ultimately back to the quote of any sufficiently advanced science when unexplainable is basically magic.
Yes.
Now, fun comments from the friend comments here.
Yeah. Let's take a check. Let's check in with the comments.
Vega apparently got horny when we started talking about wormholes. And Joe owes us pizza because he says there's dinosaur bones on the moon.
Dinosaur bones on the moon? Joseph, you're going to have to really explain that one.
Right now, all that we know is that the American flag has been on the moon long enough that it's been bleached white due to solar radiation. Therefore, everyone assumes the French were the first persons to get there.
Oh, I stepped on your joke. That was good.
So, okay, so here's my thing. If you want to say, okay, so aliens have come up with some sort of technology which lets them travel faster than light, say, that's okay. I can go with you there. But what I think many people do is they just take that as like totally plausible. And that is not like, that's a big ask, right? Do we all agree that's a big ask? Like we're saying that everything that we know about physics is wrong there.
Well, what we could look this up, but I can definitely say Newton was after Jesus' time, right?
Yeah.
We're on a...
That's how history works.
That's how history works, right? So in the 2,000 years, because we're in the 2000s, we've come from what everyone has an idea of in biblical times to today, where we're broadcasting to however many people, and that's a 2,000-year gap.
Yeah.
Sure. If we go in another 2,000-year gap, we're not going to be double what we are today. It's going to be exponentially further than we are right now.
Yes.
So
Perhaps.
If you look at the scientific advancement, so basically...
with a continuous linear growth that we've experienced.
It is an exponential... Oh, fuck. Shoulder. Sorry, I slept on this thing last night. But anyways, no, like if you look at how the technology of a civilization grows as the civilization grows, it's an exponential growth. Because think of in fact, that's one of the things that they talk about with the fact that people our age experience so much nostalgia, is because we've seen so much technological growth in our age. We literally went from the fact that household computers was a rare occurrence to the fact that we all have computers that were better processing than what got us to the moon in our fucking pockets.
Or the best is from a plane to the moon is... I gotta look it up before I make a fool of myself.
That's what Ryan's for. We can have Ryan. We can call Ryan in on things. You know.
Look up I'm gonna say it's 60 years. What?
Sorry.
Boons on the moon?
E-Money says an article just came out about there being bones on the moon.
Moon bones. Look it up.
E-Money, if you would like to quote...
I don't know if this is something...
If you could copy and post that article in the chat for me, I will pull it up.
Or just hack it on the computer and fucking post it for me, please.
So, sorry, what did you guys want me to Google?
Please don't go through my search history.
No, yeah, right. Yeah. The flight to... Our first flight, Wright brothers, to landing on the moon time gap.
it's got to be like 40 years, right?
It's. I would say. I think it's 60. I'm only asking so I don't look that stupid, but I already said it. So I'm pretty sure it's a 60-year gap from us being able to fly to the moon.
Yeah.
66 years.
66 years.
1903 to 1969.
So I think there's a totally reasonable argument here that technology progresses quickly and at an exponential rate and so on and so forth.
Debatable.
I think
because you also have instances where Da Vinci actually had the first schematics for a helicopter back during the Renaissance.
Yeah, 500 years ago. Right. So so what I'm talking about is a difference of what we think is possible versus what we think is doable. Does that make sense? So right now, when we're talking about getting to Alpha Centauri, for instance, there's no doable plan yet. That we're at our technology level, it's not going to happen, right? But that doesn't mean that it couldn't be possible theoretically, right?
Yes.
Yeah, with 1,000 generations, right? We could make a spacecraft that's basically a spaceship Earth.
Yeah, and that was just my immediate answer to your question of how it could possibly be done.
Yeah.
With your parameters of the oldest living.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. So that is plausible, right?
Yes.
That's actually more plausible to me than us saying something, though, like we're going to invent faster than speed of light travel, because I don't think that. I think that constant. I think the reason light moves that fast is because it is the universal constant. Like, could be in a different part of the universe where we're talking about that's where the laws of physics are different. That constant could be different.
Well, like space is expanding faster than light, and
yes, and there is actually one. I was going to say loophole, right? Maybe wormhole is the better phrase, but one loophole in it is that because space is expanding, right? I wonder if you can see this. If I can do this in a way that looks right on camera. So because it's expanding, if something's moving in one direction in here, these 2 points could be moving faster than the speed of light away from each other, right? But that's because that's including the expansion of the universe. But relative to one part of the universe, there's nothing's moving faster than the speed of light. And nothing even gets close. That's another important point, is when we're talking about things moving through space, like the fastest shit, like fastest asteroids that are, something collides and things ricochet off of it extremely fast. There's no friction in space, so things can get to speeds that would boggle the human mind, right? That's still a very small fraction of the speed of light, right? So speed of light is very, very, very fast. And that's my only point, is to talk about moving matter, particles in, like for instance, even when you hit the event horizon of a black hole, which is where past this point you're getting sucked in. You can't escape this point, right? And you are moving so fast that you get spaghettified, which is actually the scientific term for your body gets stretched out, right? That's still much slower than the speed of light. So go ahead.
Sorry. Scientists have actually measured blobs and blazar jets screaming through space at 99.9% of the light speed.
Really? Well, I'd be happy to be wrong about that then. So.
Yep, this is an article from...
I'm also happy he's wrong about that too.
Yes, this article on space.com. This article is placed on space.com.
Well, so then if I'm wrong about that, which I'm totally willing to concede, then, then we're talking, it's not impossible if that is true, which I'm willing to go for. Of course, we can look up all of the stuff later.
And if we really want to turn this into a debate,
it's going 99.9%?
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem close to?
Kills 99.9% of germs?
So the
Can we look this article up? I really want to see it.
Well, sorry, I just read the rest of the article. So the particles that are actually the propulsion elements of the engine are going 99.9% of the speed of light. However, it only allows for approximately Mach 16, a craft that could actually be built to withhold the engine and its capacities.
Yeah.
So there are particles that are microscopic in size that are going 99.9% the speed of light.
Oh, okay.
That we have figured out how to generate.
Yeah.
But those particles are only able to propel a craft able to withhold that generation to Mach 16.
Yeah, and what's important to say, when we're saying particles, we're not even saying atoms. We're talking about like neutrinos and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Moore's law.
I wouldn't be surprised that certain particles could move close to the speed of light. That seems plausible to me in a frictionless environment.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys keep. I apologize. I cut you off.
Thank you very much, Justin. I appreciate it. Just in case.
Yes.
Yeah. Quarks would rip you.
Yes. And Justin, yes, we had the 66 years. That was from date of landing on the moon to date of their first flight.
Right, yeah.
But we do admit there was a Russian that was in orbit before we were ever on the moon.
That's true, yeah. And a monkey.
You commie
I was
bastard.
gonna say
monkey,
I know,
right?
Goddamn communist.
I'm sorry, chimpanzee, not a monkey.
I don't know.
It's an ape.
Ape.
We're an ape too.
Are we?
Yeah.
All right.
We're not monkeys, we're apes.
Some of us more than others.
I was created by God.
Okay, so I
Yes.
think we've talked this point to
Yeah, we
death.
put that. Yes, and that point had nothing to do with aliens affecting Earth. It's how they may have got here
Yes.
if they.
Well,
So
that-
I feel
that
like
I
we
think
actually
there's a-
haven't talked about, like, you haven't brought up any points of how aliens have actually affected our history yet.
Okay.
Go.
Gold. I
Well,
brought
you
up
did
the gold
thing, but yeah.
The gold thing
Yeah,
is
that is true. The gold thing
is my biggest argument. That's why I didn't want you to read it.
Right, yeah, I didn't.
Is if there was a reason for us to be here to bring us into the new age would be that.
Right.
And then I guess studying of like I don't know.
So tiny space is not actually cold. Space is just the absence of anything. So
Zoom me.
There is heat in space and everything, but because it is antimatter, it's actually depicted as being so cold it boils bodies alive.
Yeah.
Those are hieroglyphs on the pyramids.
Yeah, I've seen these before. So obviously this guy over here looks very
Spaceship?
Yeah,
I was gonna
very
say, it
Area
looks like a
51.
helicopter
Top.
just to the left of it.
Top.
Oh yeah, that one looks
Helicopter.
very much like a helicopter.
Kind of looks like a boat. I see
It
yacht.
does.
I
It
see
really
Maggie- I
looks
see yacht.
Miami Vice as fuck.
Yeah, right.
Miami Vice.
And right there is the
Right
chick
there,
sunbathing
there it is.
topless. Right.
Of course.
And that's clearly a goat on the left side there with wings.
This one,
Yeah,
it's a bumble goat.
It's a what?
Bumble goat.
It's actually a llama. That's
It
a
is
long
not
neck.
Wait, where do you see the long neck?
The horns.
Oh.
That's a really long
I was
neck.
gonna say it looks more like one of those, like an African.
Serengeti, the gazelle-looking thing.
Yeah, where they have the really long, like they're goats,
not
but
a-
they have long ass horns but with wings.
I see bumblebee. With
You see bumblebee.
Fun fact.
Oh yeah, it kind of
Australia
looks like a
has,
bumblebee.
Tarantulas with wings. Because fucking
What?
Australia. Yeah.
Fuck that.
The
They
only
also
thing.
have venomous crabs.
Definitely a speedboat top right, Tiny.
Yes.
So, we got some pictures here. Someone put on the wall somewhere.
Now,
Someone graffitied.
where are these pictures from? Because if you want, I could also Google Egyptian hieroglyphs that have R2D2 and C3PO in them, because it was an Easter egg put in the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We're here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
I accept.
yep.
Let's not play that. Let's not play.
Ancient alien shrine.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're looking at
Temple
these
of
hieroglyphs appear to show helicopters and spaceships.
Oh.
And Miami Vice speedboats too, by the way.
So, fun fact, the god Set is the god of mischief from Egyptian mythology. Basically, their version of Loki. He's the trickster god and the one that's basically just an asshole to everyone he meets.
Right.
So the fact that these icons are found in a temple of Set is very interesting.
Well, also I would say that
The court jester was the only person in a court that was able to tell the truth to the king without repercussion.
right.
So if anyone was going to hide the truth in anything, it would be the court jester.
Have I ever told you my favorite court jester story? There is a court jester.
No, you haven't. Sorry, that didn't come up yet. Go for it.
So there's an actual court jester story,
Oh my God.
and I can't remember which king he was court jester for, but the court jester went up and smacked the king on the ass, and then when the king asked him,
You
for
have heard this
I
story.
have heard it,
Oh my
but
God,
how
this
should he
is-
die?
Please,
Well,
Ryan.
so no, there's a step in between.
Yeah, there is, but I was giving-
when the king asked him why he did it to give himself an excuse, he goes, "I'm sorry, I thought you were the queen." For mine.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then he goes, "Okay, I'm sending you. That's how would you like to die?" The court jester chose
Old age.
And so the king left wordless, let him to go.
Fucking comics. Speaking of Scum Comedy Night, February 4th.
This guy headlining, this guy heckling.
I was going to think of an alien joke for this podcast, but aliens are no joke. So they're real, I hope.
Yeah, so we'll be doing it at Revelry, 7 p.m. Revelry, Lake Worth Beach. Socially distant, have to have a mask on to come to the event. Period.
Possible amazing sushi.
Great selection of beers.
Yes, over 100 beers.
Hottest bartender in town.
Yep, I'll be there. So.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Xena.
She is. Yeah. Xena is a fucking goddess, but
yes.
I am the hottest bartender.
She is the definition of the emotion of scaroused, where you're both scared and horny simultaneously.
Okay, let's
Thank God your wife went to sleep.
Yeah.
Nikki knows.
Nikki knows all.
Can we not? All right. No. We're done talking about my boss on the internet.
Yeah,
we're done talking about my boss on the internet.
And
let's talk about aliens.
Patron, yeah.
Something that's not going to get me killed as quickly.
I was gonna say we're both gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work around too.
All right. These are just other depictions.
Okay, so stop for a second on this one. So what are we? Ancient alien proof.
Of course, it's all proof.
Now, when I look at that, I don't see anything that leaps out at me that says, "Oh yeah, they saw it."
Definitely. The untrained eye. So
no, but my greater point here would be that a lot of the evidence that I see from the UFO space, and you've had some really good stuff, but not all of it is as good as what you've shown. A lot of the times, I think it's just that people, once we've seen one or two movies that have that are good movies or something, like a lot of the stuff that came out that's sort of Area 51 themed. X-Files is one of my favorite shows ever. But then when we look at this thing from history and it looks even vaguely close to it, we sort of make a mental connection that wasn't there, right? The same way that you see faces in the clouds and stuff.
Fair point.
Yeah. But with the untrained eye, what am I looking at here?
So for the trained eye.
Yeah, for the trained eye.
Rockets take off. The astronauts are usually sitting in the same position. Thank you. There is an apparatus on their nose.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
It's an artist rendering of the situation.
Yeah.
He is encased in a pointy object. You see it now, right?
Yeah.
And then these are flames spouting from that said object.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it.
Now that we're walking through.
Do you think that's not trying to be mean here. Do you think that that's compelling?
It's one of the compelling things that is brought up, and I've read, and I'm not.
Right.
I don't think it's when explained.
I've seen more compelling things than that one, so I mean, it's kind of unfair for me to pick this one out of everything.
Yeah, we just kind of we just stopped on that. But I do know the explanation for it.
Well, yeah, it was cool that you actually knew.
Absolutely, the nose part. There's petals, I think, on this one. Like see that. I guess there's the other side, but it's. There are petals that somewhere, if you zoom in on it, I think that piece right there is supposed to be a pedal. It's operating. Yeah. This is operating gears with his hands. You know, it's the spaceship point kind of a thing. Yeah. These are all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think if you squint your eyes hard enough, you could kind of see it.
You could see an alien as the mother kind of thing. If you squint your eyes hard enough, you see what you want to see.
Well, it's true. It's true. I think the alien, the mother thing, is a more compelling thing than the feathers on top of the spaceship. They're a little throw it off a little bit there for me. But again, it's unfair. This is we just picked one kind of at random here.
Yeah. What we haven't gone over is the. I'm gonna forget how to say it, and it's written down in my notes. But
Anunnaki.
Nope. It's a Hawaiian word.
Oh.
Yes, aloha. It's actually
spam.
It's pretty
spam on sushi.
It's pretty close to that. Where is it?
Is it Umamua?
Yeah.
Umamua?
Something like that.
Omamua, maybe?
So this was an object discovered in our view for the past, I think it was like 2 years, that was exhibited non-gravitational acceleration.
What does that mean? So that I understand, I can follow you. I actually don't know what non-gravitational.
When we track objects through space, there are comets and asteroids. A comet produces the tail because it is a frozen body of matter that is slow or rapidly, I guess. I wouldn't say slowly, the way it's thawing, producing propulsion for the ice turning into a different form of matter, providing thrust.
Is that actually what causes that?
Yes. More or less.
Yeah, I'm simplified, but yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't realize the sublimation of one, that was what was driving comets.
Mm-hmm. That.
Well, it's not what's driving comets, it's what forms the tail behind. The same way that the rings around Saturn are actually just billions of rocks kind of coming together and everything. And the particles they disseminate are what kind of gives it that solid look.
But it's not propelling it?
No, it's not propelling it.
Oh, okay.
It's a side effect of its travel.
That would have been a really cool...
I think it is... Well, all right.
It's the same way in the fact that, like...
Can you look up
type of propelling? Yeah, type
I want to know.
Comet propulsion. Yes. I'm almost... Well, we're going to find out. Please.
E-Money suggested the new TV show Trained Eye for the Alien Guy.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I kind of like that, yeah.
At what point is it... Well, this is an interesting question for all of us. At what point is it easier to believe in myths than it is to believe in reality?
Get off your high horse, you son of a bitch.
No, but I actually think that's an interesting point also to my side of the argument, which is that I do think that it's in human nature to not want to believe, like to want to believe in these myths, to want to believe in gods, to want to believe in a higher purpose, right? I think aliens, if you go with the most skeptical, non-supernatural, least interventionist from aliens view of the universe, you're going to end up with something that aliens are sort of a human yearning for some sense of meaning, some sense of purpose.
Well, myths are an explanation for that being, if they're actual. In my view, it's the reality would be aliens, and the myths are the excuse and the easy route out. To say they're Thor and Zeus and the lightning bolts, that's the easy route to explain away aliens.
But I totally see it from your angle too. I'm not,
So it's the same side, same side or different side of the same coin. Yeah, there we go. Coin.
Yeah. I am curious what propels comets though. But anyways, so let's talk about Oumuamua.
Oumuamua. Yeah.
Oumuamua.
Oumuamua, thank you. Yes, that is it. Did somebody phonetically cough symbolism?
I just looked at it again and was like, I didn't pronounce that right at all.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down phonetically just because naming observation.
I'm sorry, any Hawaiian people who are like,
all the
these
Hawaiian
fucking
followers.
white boys just fucking butchered this. Okay.
Interesting. So, a comet's tail does not actually check the path it's followed. It automatically points away from the sun regardless of what direction the comet is going, because it is literally just a gaseous halo formed around it.
Okay, it's just like a laser pointer through smoke.
It's going away from the sun.
It's smoke. So, yeah.
It's basically just reflecting the light that the sun is casting on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
science is cool.
I do have a fun personal story based on what we just brought up about how, like, bringing in the other gods like Thor and stuff like that. So I went to a very Catholic college, and part of my courses, I had to take a Bible course. Anyone that knows me knows I love Norse mythology, if it was not obvious by tattoos and drinking horn.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I brought up to one of my professors on side time, he actually asked me to have lunch where I could prove my evidence and have a discussion about this. But we actually sat there and discussed how many of the events in Genesis and the early books of the Bible were also depicted in old mythologies of other world religions, but far before those world religions ever would have interacted with Christianity.
Sure.
And so I literally actually had lunch with my professor that lasted 3.5 hours. And afterwards, the next day, he actually called the church that he pastored at and took a sabbatical from it, as well as a sabbatical from the school, because he had to actually sit there and reconcile everything that I put. I literally made him doubt his entire faith with one conversation, because it was like, oh, well, this story in Genesis is like this story from Norse mythology and blah, 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 blah. And he's literally sitting there questioning every aspect of his faith, and he had to take time off from both his job and his side job because I made him question everything.
I think that's cool as shit. Okay, so what are we talking about with Oumuamua? Oumuamua?
Yeah. It was a body of mass we discovered that exhibits non-gravitational acceleration. So maybe I was wrong about the comet thing.
Yeah.
But
well,
gravity,
that's okay. That's off topic.
Yeah, it's off topic. Gravity, I was going to... asteroids and comets are affected by gravitational pull on larger masses, right? So this matter, for lack of a better term, is counteracting, or it's non-gravitational acceleration. So it's not moving in the same way a typical body. Yep, go for it. Yeah, hit it.
No, I was also going to pull this up just so people could see it because it was actually behind the camera.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Let's go to the gravitational acceleration.
Yeah.
You want to read that, Alex?
Okay. In physics, gravitational acceleration is the acceleration of an object in free fall within a vacuum and thus without experiencing drag. This is the steady gain in speed caused exclusively by the force of gravitational attraction. At given GPS coordinates on the Earth's surface and a given altitude, all bodies accelerate in a vacuum at the same rate, regardless of the masses and compositions of the body. The measures and analysis of these rates is known as gravimetry. At different points on Earth's surface, the free fall acceleration. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. So this object
I still don't know if I understand what it means, but I get that it acted weird.
It acted weird through
space.
Through space.
I would just like to point out, if you scroll up right there, in July 2019, astronomers reported that Oumuamua was an object of purely natural origin. This came after speculation of Oumuamua being an alien object. So at least the scientists we have, they're either in on it. Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah. I just wanted, before we move forward, just to have that the scientists may agree. Okay.
So this was a Star Wars creation.
Yeah, I thought I'd recognize it from
Count Dooku's ship.
Okay.
It's called a solar kite. It's theorized of how we can propel spacecraft.
Yeah, this is real.
Yes.
Yeah, this was inspired by real science that shows that, you could use the propulsion from the sun.
It's a sail.
Yeah.
It's a kite. It's what Columbus sailed the ocean blue with.
Right.
Oh no, do I have another point that I didn't go to? Columbus?
Yeah. Let's go talk about Columbus real quick. Because that's the second tab, I think. Mysterious lights as Columbus This was foreshadowed by when you were clicking around earlier. I was like, oh, there's one about Columbus.
Yeah. So
let's talk about this.
Other than war, there are UFO sightings during humanity changing events. Columbus finding the New World. Maybe there were other people that found the New World first, but whatever. 5 hours before Columbus discovered the New World, he wrote, so small a body that he could not affirm it to be land.
Sure.
Yep. You want to read it?
Sure. So he called over 2 of his crew members, but the light was so faint that only one man could discern it. Staring harder, Columbus wrote, he again perceived it once or twice, appearing like the light of a wax candle moving up and down. Which some thought an indication of land. The mysterious light has long captivated historians and scientists, with some attributing it to canoes, fires on shore, or even Columbus's imagination. In 1935, hey, cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this with me. It's a lot of fun.
Of course, always.
In 1935, the naturalist Lyon Rutledge Crawshaw suggested that the light emanated from luminous worms in the genus whatever, commonly known as fireworms. Like clockwork, these bioluminescent creatures swim in a circular mating dance before the twice monthly quarter moon. So talk to me about this. What are we really looking at here?
So
what's the most alien version of this story?
So that there is a explanation, glowing worms in the ocean, versus something that startled Columbus on his flight right before the discovery of a new world. If there was an alien species keeping tabs on humanity, knowing the importance of a connection between two bodies of
Right, it's a fun story as far as if the aliens kind of like.
And if you want to suspend your skepticism for a moment,
I am.
And everyone think of the explanation of bioluminescent worms as the myth portrayed to cover up an actual encounter.
Right. So every scientific explanation for a phenomena that, if there really are aliens, is more akin to a myth, right?
Exactly.
Right. It's definitely.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, there are bioluminescent plants and animals out there, especially where you get into the dark depths of the ocean. You have things like anglerfish and other things that naturally give off their own sources of light.
Right.
I mean, hell, even you go to Georgia or northern Florida and Tennessee and stuff like that, and you encounter fireflies, which literally give off their own form of light because they are bioluminescent in their own way.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that bioluminescent animals exist does not necessarily connect it to like this person gave a depiction of this bioluminescent animal, so therefore aliens.
Well, and actually, to be devil's advocate on Gaetano's side for a second, I would say that, Columbus, for all of the horrible things he was probably a good sailor, and was probably he was probably from a lot of people who were, I'm sure they were aware of bioluminescence.
Did you just call the guy that tried to hit India and landed up in America a good sailor?
Yeah, he made it here. There were people that we don't talk about that tried the same thing but didn't make it.
Yeah, that's true.
The
we don't
Vikings
talk about
made
them.
it a couple hundred years ahead of him. Leif Erikson.
Oh, sure. Well, that is, yeah.
They made it all the way to Minnesota.
They call it America after Amerigo Vespucci, one of my people.
There's a reason they're the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, we don't need to get into a Italian versus Nordic battle here over who gets to claim America.
So we're
all know
going
as
on
the
to
Native Americans, which I am technically a member of the tribe. So
As is Nikki.
Yeah, we're both.
So we taking
Okay, so where were you? Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I won't.
We're calling alliance for now against him.
Do not hit that YouTube link.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I know. I'm joking.
I want to find the actual I was hoping it'd be easier to find his actual
UFO incident recounted in 18.
Oh, here we're on this now. Go for it.
Yeah.
Whose UFO incident is this?
UFOseekers.com. Just
Actually,
for anybody who wants to look this up. What?
It said his UFO incident.
I think we're talking. This is Christopher Columbus.
No.
1828.
Wait. Yeah, this is recounted in 1828.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from Annapolis, Maryland Republican. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Suddenly, let's see. I'm trying to speed read this so that I can get there. Okay. Columbus, yet doubtful whether it be some delusion of the fancy, called Rodrigo Sanchez, yada yada. By the time the latter had ascended the roundhouse, the light had disappeared. They saw it once or twice afterwards in sudden and passing gleams, as if it was a torch in the bark of a fisherman, rising and sinking with the waves, or in the hands of some person on shore, borne up and down as he walked from house to house. So transient and uncertain were these gleams, they few attached any importance to them. Columbus, however, considered them as certain signs of land, and moreover that the land was inhabited. They continued their course until 2 a.m, 5 hours later, when a gun from Pinta gave the joyful signal of the land. It was discovered by a man named Rodrigo de Trana, but the reward was afterwards adjusted to Admiral Columbus. Oh, so it's not really Columbus, just like everything wasn't really Columbus. Yeah.
E-Money said leave it to the Italian to bring up Columbus.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, but so what we're saying is the shortest form is that Columbus saw some really weird shit 5 hours. Yeah, and in this account, which of course this is an account from
the UFO seeker.
Well, no, but
from
giving him the benefit of the doubt here, from that it was 300 years later, is in a newspaper, but the account was that it actually kept going until they saw land. Yeah, it went for 5 hours, and then right at 2 a.m. when they hit land, it disappeared. That was what it was saying. Okay, that's the story. Yes, which is
There we go. Yeah. We're coming together. Yeah. So if that was so the aliens guided Columbus to the New World. It was their destiny.
So you're saying that they guided, or they just because they showed up in the last 5 hours. I mean, they were already on the way, right?
Well, he wanted him to go to that
Say,
specific
you're not
spot.
going to miss by so much. For
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're gonna, if you go a little to the left or a little to the right,
You
when
would've
you're
made it there
5 hours
eventually.
away
You
from
would've made it there
Maryland,
early.
right? Yeah.
All right.
Was it Maryland, Virginia,
Plymouth Rock. Is,
somewhere up there?
Massachusetts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact: the colony of Roanoke. Do you guys know this?
Oh yeah, this is a good alien.
Yes. So one of the theories for the colony of Roanoke is the fact that there is a map made of the Roanoke area and everything like that. That about, I want to say, is like 3 to 5 miles inland from where the colony of Roanoke was offshore. They actually had a map of it that had something erased and then drawn back with some like blotted out with some sort of like ink, and it almost had like a special effect underneath it, similar to like an invisible ink or something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that have used different scientific methods and stuff like that have come up with a basically evidence that there was a fort or some other entity there that no one has been able to find since. So a lot of people attribute the disappearance of the Roanoke colony of North Carolina to aliens.
Whatever that was describing.
Yes.
Whatever that unknown. Okay. There was the map that detailed the coastline of Antarctica with the ice without the ice. You know about that?
I do know about that.
It's with a V, and I can't think of the name.
I can't either, because I actually learned about it when I was reading up on Shackleton, who... yeah.
Shackleton whiskey.
Yep.
50 bottles.
Well, so Shackleton
I know,
was one of the...
Yeah, this is who I am.
Well, no.
I'm not as good as him, but...
because I researched Shackleton because of his whiskey.
Okay.
So he's one of the best, worst explorers to ever exist.
Cool.
You love him.
Yeah.
Because he somehow convinced not one, not two, but 3 different parties to finance an expedition to get to the South Pole. After failure after failure.
Mm-hmm.
So he literally got people to keep financing him to go to find the South Pole. Wrecked his ship every time. But on one of those specific voyages, he had a bunch of barrels of whiskey that he just fucking left out there. They found it years later, and it was like a legendary whiskey to try. In fact, they have a modern day version of it called Shackleton Scotch, and which I currently have a bottle of at the house, and I was drinking on New Year's Day.
You have the recreation. The
Yeah, I
real
have the
ones
recreation, because
like
the real
hundreds
ones are
of thousands.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
I could maybe afford a single drop.
Yeah. Perry
With
Reese
everything I've
maps.
ever made in my life.
Perry Reese maps were the name we were
Okay,
looking
so
for.
what is
The Perry Reese maps.
Yeah.
Ancient map showing an Arctic coastline without ice. Perry Reese world
Can you
map.
move your phone just a little away from your mic? I don't know. Yeah, you're good. Yeah,
I
over
can
there's
hear
good. Yeah. It's interesting to listen to it feedback. But go ahead.
That is a weird feedback.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh shit, we got to go into the different the bloop.
Okay, so the bloop, that's an I would be happy to go in on that one. with
But
you,
other
go
space
ahead.
bloops. But we're on the Perry Reese map. Let's stick with-
Really quick,
Well, yeah, please inform me about that.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
I don't know anything about that.
E-Money said that he saw on our Google search that both Aaron Rodgers and Miley Cyrus have seen UFOs as part of our search, and therefore they are the most credible news sources ever,
was
and
about to
therefore
say.
aliens exist.
We should just end the stream now, and because if
Aaron
it's-
Rodgers
yeah,
and Miley
if
Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus, it's like we're done.
Done. Sold.
Second fake out of the night.
Yeah. This has been fun. So what are these maps though?
All right.
Inform me.
Medieval era maps discovered
Yeah, there you go.
in a Turkish palace in 1929 is dated to 1513. It shows a knowledge of faraway lands well beyond the areas of European explorers have traveled, and even shows land features Europeans couldn't have possibly known about in 1513. The Andes Mountains of South America, the coastline of Antarctica underneath the ice.
Neil, thank you for subscribing to the channel, brother. I really
Neil.
appreciate it.
So this is a map that shows the coastline of Antarctica under
But
ice.
Under the ice. There's no way they could have known.
And even if it's...
And it's accurate.
And it was found in 1929. So I don't know.
But
if
dated to
1513.
Right.
I don't even know if in 1929 did we have that kind of technology to map?
No.
Oh, so what we're really saying is it's actually only now can we confirm it to be accurate.
Yeah, that's something to look up.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay. I am an amateur cartographer myself.
Of course you are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, as the dungeon master for a long-running campaign at this point, I have become very familiar with creating my own maps and everything, so amateur cartographer.
Mm-hmm.
But, so there are ways to come up with maps that seem very natural and everything that happen to actually coincide with the existing entities that we know as continents and everything. Now, one of my arguments for that is that I literally did a thing where if you ever look it up, there's one method for creating maps for Dungeons and Dragons called the dice method, where you take every single die you have, you throw it on a large piece of paper and draw a line around all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what ends up happening is that you end up creating relatively familiar shapes just because your mind is actually programmed to create these to form patterns based off existing knowledge.
Right.
So, based on a map I used the dice method to create, it actually looks relatively similar to North America, with the exception of there's no dingle-dongle of Florida hanging out like that. But for the most part, if you looked at it over the map of North America, it's pretty damn close. So, and this is with me literally just randomly throwing dice on a piece of paper, drawing lines around them, creating islands where I felt they should be islands, lakes where I felt there should be lakes, mountains where I felt there should be mountains based on the dice showing up. And it is eerily similar to a map of the United States. So, there are ways to actively create maps that are close enough for people to think, that's really weird that they came up with that stuff. But at the same time, for the fact that these maps have this much predation, in fact, I don't even know if they would physically have been able to get boats there and back at that time period to look at those places.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down a little bit? Analysis, yeah.
Hit it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just speed reading. All right, so the quote here at the bottom says, the Piri-Reis map is not the most accurate map of the 16th century, as has been claimed, there being many, many world maps produced in the remaining 87 years of that century that far surpass it in accuracy. The Ribeiro maps of the 1520s and 50s series, and then names a bunch of maps, are a few better known examples. But there's this Antarctic coast thing. All right, so I'll just read this. There are two major discrepancies from known coastlines. The North American coast mentioned above and the southern portion of the South American coast. On the Piri-Reis map, the latter is shown being bending off sharply to the east, starting around the present-day Rio de Janeiro. Blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to see if this, yeah. It doesn't really say that much about it in particular, unfortunately, but we can pull up a picture of the photo here.
Yeah, pull that up, because Tiny also says that does it show Antarctica 70%
Yeah, I was going to
smaller?
ask Ryan to look in on that actually earlier, and we just got kind of sidetracked, sorry.
Yeah.
But this is the map, and I'm not exactly sure how to... Yeah, okay. So what is this? Is this the North Pole here, what we're looking at? This would be Africa, I'm guessing?
Yeah, top left, Greenland or Iceland? Iceland, right? I don't know.
And this is America, question mark?
Canada?
I don't know.
No, I think that's, Ben, we're just talking out of our
Yeah,
asses.
we're
But
just-
that looks like South America. Go down.
We're trying to read really
See
bad
that?
cursive in another
Yeah.
I see South America in that,
That could be,
right?
yeah. Hard to say.
Yeah,
what we're
hard to
looking
say.
at. Yeah.
But the point is that this map was revolutionary to our ability at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Later,
also
for-
interesting that it shows both magnetic and true north as points on here.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Especially for the time.
Yes, because that concept was relatively new.
So yeah, it's a neat idea though to think that they were able to understand the Antarctic coastline. I don't think the Wikipedia article we had was the best example of your point, but
Zoom in on that really quick, because that just caught my eye. The
What?
headless figure about 3 inches to the left of where you have the mouse.
That
Yeah. Zoom in on that.
I can't zoom in any further.
Press control and scroll. Like,
Whoops, I hit the wrong button here.
this is why we can't have nice things, Daddy. Alright.
Is that a dog and a monkey dancing?
I don't know what this is, but I feel like
Aliens.
it's yeah.
Well, there you go.
Aliens.
There's your proof. Aliens exist.
Yes, this is
No, it
Aliens.
actually looks like a bearded head of a man.
yeah,
That the
some
bearded
sort of
head is actually the body with a flaming shoulder skull.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
not
really bad
it's not the
dandruff?
best evidence for aliens, that's for
it was,
sure.
Sorry, it
Yeah.
just it reminded me of a deity, and that just threw me off.
So Josepher, right,
Yeah.
said map was put together and compiled by as many ancient maps as he could find. That we've been saved from the Library of Alexandria. The coastline was pre-ice.
And pre-diluvian.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so I have a lot of feelings on the Library of Alexandria. Most of them sad ones on the fact that it was lost to all of history due to
Right.
fire and water and everything. Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to have. I'd love to have Josepher on sometime too, because he's definitely got a lot of great, interesting, big ideas about.
And the
how-
phone-in line sounds really like a great idea.
It would be great to have had him in.
That's
to talk.
radio show 101.
I got to get that working.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll work on that for our next SCUM debate.
Or for any of them, just anyone calling in to
Sure,
have
sure.
something to. That's great.
Movie night,
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Be havoc, but
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the where when appropriate.
Yeah.
yes,
Exactly.
inappropriate.
Yeah. Which Joseph is always appropriate. But.
So far,
Okay, so
the
Yeah.
most appropriate
Back
one
to-
in our chats.
yeah, let's talk about aliens. So
I don't know how we got to this map, but it is kind of a anomaly in society or history, and not just.
Yeah.
It's a historic anomaly.
So I think okay. So a bigger picture thing
I
here
just recognize the writing. It's Eric.
is that there's going to be anomalies through history, right? And I think there's in general two types of people. One who are willing to ascribe more of those anomalies to, right? Because it makes sense if there really are aliens coming to Earth and intervening in some way, then we would expect to see anomalies, right? We would expect to see things that we'd be like, why did Christopher Columbus see lights when he showed up before him? Why would we see this? Why are these unexplained things? Well, one way to explain all of them is to have this one idea that's just, hey, aliens are here, and that's what causes that. But another way to think about it is that through the course of history, I mean, we know that from modern, like forensic science, for instance, like, so when we're looking into crimes, first person witness testimony is like the lowest form of testimony, because people, they remember t-shirt colors wrong. I was on a jury at one point. I remember every witness said the perpetrator's t-shirt was a different color, and it's like, it really didn't affect the overall, what we were talking about. But I just remember being like, it really is crazy how memory, we all have this feeling that memory is like super locked in stone. Like my vision of what memory is I remember it being this way, so it must be right. Other
I was
people's
gonna say
memories
that's
are
the highest
faulty.
form of arrogance is the fact that we believe that our memory is infallible while everyone else is wrong.
Sure. And but my point would just be that all of our memories are probably a little faulty, and then there's going to be accounts that don't line up with what we understand, and sometimes that might be better explained by just understanding that facet of human psychology versus taking everything. So that would be my little skeptical counter argument. So we're coming up on midnight. So what I wanted to ask you is,
I was gonna say it is getting late and time is.
I
actually
want to give
flown in this
Gaetano the
conversation.
chance to sort of have the last little, maybe let's say 10 minutes here to 10.
Yeah. No.
No, okay. Well, what would you want to do?
No. It was a fun time. I hope I brought some enlightenment to yourself and other people out there in different theories or possibilities.
Possibilities. Yeah.
There's other things that you can go down the rabbit hole with what I brought up.
Is there anything big that we didn't cover yet that you'd like to just?
No, I don't have the energy for it. Like
I feel like we didn't
Okay, that's
touch
fine.
any Stargate theory.
yeah, but it was like compile as much of like things people spend their entire lives trying to prove. And
there
is no definitive proof of any of it because there wouldn't be a debate if there was any kind of real proof on it.
Oh yeah, the moment anybody found like a hard piece of evidence, the debate would be over.
That's not silenced by the men in black and all this, or the church. Like the Vatican has a UFO department now.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Well, say the Vatican because so we were talking about this, and one of the things we were talking about doing in the future is a debate night on the supernatural. And
we might do that.
I will be heavily involved in that night, if not as well as Nikki.
In spirit, at least.
No.
Hey! Come see the show February 4th.
Yeah, over at Revelry Lake February 4th. Okay.
Anyways, distraction aside. No, but one of the things in there is the fact that the largest collection of spellcraft and other like written works on magic and everything is in the basement catacombs of the Vatican.
Yeah. If they didn't burn it when they found it.
No, most of them honestly kept it, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but that makes my heist theory. So,
we have a better chance of getting it to Area 51 than the Vatican. But they have the Vatican, the Catholic Church, one of the most powerful organizations in the world. Like if I had one organization that was going to kill you because of what you said against them,
sure.
It's like the U.S. government has nothing on them. They've been around for centuries.
Well, I was going to say, the guards that they have in
Swiss
Vatican
guards.
City, literally go to other countries and train their soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're... without going into too many technicals on that, they have the Vatican who has a UFO study group, like a department on how to baptize aliens when they do come here.
Really?
I could find it. Neil, if he's still listening, who's the one who found that when he was over for our short preps. We got some paragraphs in there.
Joe just invited us all to his comedy night.
Yeah, I was actually going to stop and say that I know that Joseph's actually running a comedy night. Just so you know.
Yes, all three of us apparently have a spot available on his comedy night if we ever ask for it. So, road trip to Miami, we're going to take over his comedy night.
Well, February Harry's got it.
Yeah, it's February 4th at Revelry.
I think I hope they were just making a joke.
I think Adam was joking.
February 3rd, Alex will be
funnier.
in that seat right there. In fact, February 3rd should be Rewind with Jackie Daggers.
Yeah, Jackie Daggers and
Vampire.
Vampire. Yeah, that's the plan as it stands. I always hold the right to change my mind about anything, but yeah.
Yes, but I like to point out that we are selling out because that's the people we become.
Yes.
We're selling out for future
I appreciate
events.
the selling out, of course.
So like and subscribe, comment if you haven't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Share this link with everybody you know and half the people you don't.
I do feel like Gaetano should get the last word here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm much appreciated.
Well, that's your opinion. I object it.
Go fact check it real quick for us.
Fact check that.
Yes. No, it was fun. I hope it was entertaining. That's all I really care about. That's all any of us really care about. That this was an entertaining experience.
Informative.
You didn't even get to your sock puppets.
And they crunch and they're all, they make too much noise in the mics.
Oh my god.
Yeah. If I wasn't gonna get laid for anything in my life, it's me defending aliens on the internet that's there forever and ever.
Yeah.
Like my porns aren't gonna be the thing that puts me in the grave. It's this shit.
Yes.
Joke's on you. I just got on the internet and helped you defend aliens, and my girlfriend is still gonna call me in the morning.
Okay. I think we're fucking done
good
here.
Night.
Yeah.
Good night.
We love you all.
Love you guys so
we're
much.
Actually going away from
we're done here. I love you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful night. Okay.
Y'all take care. Miss y'all.
All right. So.